TSN 1050.
All right, here we go. OverDrive off and running. TSN 1050 on the TSN app, your home smart speaker up on TSN 2. Brian Hayes, Jonas Siegel of The Athletic. What's going on, Jonas?
What's happening? What is the story you haven't gotten to talk about that you are dying to talk about? Is there one?
Well, yeah, there's a few, man. I've missed, generally speaking, I want to be here July 2nd, 3rd, 4th.
Mm-hmm.
The following week. This is a week where it gets a little bit slow.
Yeah.
Right? We got the home run derby tonight. I did miss out on the Jays sweeping the Yankees. I wanted to get into that. I'm not going to bore people with my opinion on that.
Why?
Well, it's uber positive. There's no
about
opinion.
the record stuff with Aaron Boone and
Yeah. Well, and him pretending as if they're the best team in baseball. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah, and
that they're going to turn it around. It's fine, but just admit that you're a fan. Like, he pretends as if he's some objective journalist, as if we all know the way the game's played. Like, if the network owns the team, which is the way it works up here, and certainly the way it works on Yes, right, the Yankees channel, they're kind of pro-Yankees.
Sure.
That's all right. And I think, guess what? I think a lot of people watching, that's what they want. They don't want someone that hates the team that they love or hates the team that's being covered on a daily basis. So, Jamie Campbell's been doing the sweep thing for 20 years. Like, that's not some new thing. And Michael Kay pretending as if he's on some high horse, like he's Walter Cronkite. Like, just relax, dude. We get it. The Yankees aren't that good. And the Jays have passed them. And guess what? The Sox have won 10 in a row. Boston's right on your tail. It's right there. And it's amazing. Like, I will give full credit to the Blue Jays. And listen, they stumbled coming home. They lost 3 or 4 to bad teams. Mm-hmm. And that is one thing that I'm anticipating moving forward, that I was looking forward to getting to, is now that you've reset the table, now there's no more, hey, this is great, like, good for you stuff, right? When you won 10 in a row, it was uber positive, and it deserved to be. And they've had a very, very successful first half. But now that you're in a position at the All-Star break where you're leading the division, you better make the playoffs now.
Mm-hmm.
So if you blow 2 games to Sacramento or whatever the hell they're called, you throw away a game against the White Sox that was a very winnable game, that getaway game, you're going to be held to account.
So what you're saying is the expectations now have changed.
I think what they are, I think what the expectations should be is those of a first-place team on July 14th.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a first-place team on April 14th and you're surprising people, it's different. But if you're in first place at the All-Star break, the expectations, I think, need to appropriately adjust.
But do you think the point of what Michael Kay was trying to say, I don't remember his comments exactly, but was like, this is not a real first-place team? And I guess, like, I want to ask you, like, do you think there's...
You know how stupid that sounds?
But there's, like...
They're in first place.
But
that's a real first-place team.
How sustainable do you think it is?
I'm not sure. I don't think the Yankees are that good. Do you think the Yankees are some juggernaut team because their underlying statistics suggest something?
Do you like expected standings?
Well, but he was talking about the Pythagorean...
Well, like, I think he pointed to run differential because the Jays' run differential is not that good.
Reasonable.
And the Yankees is better.
I get it. But, again, it comes down to wins and losses.
Sure.
I think he was trying to dig himself out because he realized he sounded like a sore loser, right? The Yankees are getting pummeled, which they did. The Jays beat up on them. And, if you look at the run differential, okay, look, what is that worth? And I think, conversely, if someone said that about the Yankees, when the Yankees had a win column that suggested you're in first, Kay would come over the top and say, this isn't about stats. This isn't about expected. This is about real life. The Jays are, in real life, leading the division right now.
And their best player has been fine?
He's got 12 home runs.
Okay.
Like, it's interesting, like, being off, and I traveled a lot. And I traveled throughout Canada, which was amazing. I got out to Cabot, just an unbelievable place. I'm so proud that that's a Canadian-owned and operated
Did you get chirped anywhere?
Destination.
Did you hear any Hayes' you know what?
Yeah, I got a fraud question in Ottawa. Okay. We were at Byward Market.
Yeah.
Walking by, a guy just stopped and said, fraud. And I said, yeah, good to see you, man. My kids were right there. My wife, yeah. And then he started laughing. He's AZB and moved on. A guy in Quebec City. I'll tell you what, old Quebec is one of the coolest places in the country. There's nothing quite like it.
Yeah.
Anywhere in North America, in my opinion.
Look at you, Mr. Canada.
I'm Mr. Canada. I'm here representing the flag. And but as a result, being kind of around the country, a lot of people talking about the Jays, and I happen to be traveling while they were on the heater. And I will say I have 5 things that I think come up the most. One of them, in no particular order, is where is the power from Vladimir Guerrero Jr.?
I want to guess the other 4, but yeah.
I wouldn't say that's number 1, but it coincides.
Marner has to be number 1, right?
Well, yes. Marner's a completely separate
He's like on a different planet.
And we'll get to Marner in a moment. I got something to get. I got a few things on Mitch that I've been waiting to get to. But I do think when you have the buildup of the contract negotiation, you sign the deal, your team's playing this well. Like last year, he had a remarkable season, but it didn't mean anything in terms of team success.
But it wasn't the start. It was like the second half when they were out.
Right, but he started heating up in June.
When they were out.
Right. Oh, so do you think there's a connection there?
I don't know. Like
that if the lights are bright, Vladdy can't perform?
No, I don't think that's fair. I mean, the playoffs haven't been amazing, but I don't know. It just like that season feels funny. It's like scoring 40 goals for a last place team is like cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Baseball is such an individual.
It is
like
sport, though. Yeah,
like you get in the box and you're on your own.
Yeah. But I guess like to your earlier point, it's been the story the entire year. The power is not
like he's got 12 home runs at the break.
Yeah,
and the reality is he's just not a power hitter. He had the one season where they started in Dunedin and then they were in Buffalo and then they got up here and he hit 46 that season, and it was a remarkable season, but that's just not who he is. Like, in reality, he's probably a 25 to 30 home run guy. We always talk about the exit velocity with him, and why can't the launch angle match that, and all of a sudden, apparently you watch this guy in batting practice, it's outrageous the way he performs, but the power just isn't there, and it's not like he's what's he got, like a 270 batting average. His OPS is under 800, I believe now. Like those are just not. That's not good enough,
especially with a contract.
And now, I would see. Here's where I would separate those two. Once you're playing, the contract doesn't mean anything. The team is built. You are who you are. That contract technically doesn't launch until next year anyway.
Right.
Now I don't care about him matching the contract. I care about him performing for his team now because they're in a position to win. So you don't need to justify the contract. You got to justify your leadership role because your team needs you more than ever.
But that's why I'd look at the second half and be like, well, what's sustainable? Maybe some of the Clements and Bargers start to slow down and your best player starts to heat up, and that kind of makes up the difference. Like even Bichette. It's been fine.
Yeah, he's just been okay.
But that's like if I'm the Jays, I'm like, that's actually a pretty good sign. Like
that you're in
first
this
place
position.
and our 2 best players.
That's a glass half full.
The pitching staff has been fine-ish, right? Like it's like okay.
Well, I mean, I think that is the glass half full, and I would lean being optimistic that Vladdy will catch a heater here at some point. And the question is, will it happen in September?
But I don't agree with you. The contract is going to loom over everything. It just will. It's a $500 million contract.
Yeah. Listen, you're connected to your number. Like, that's the reality of pro sports, is that you're connected to it. But I guess what I'm saying is, like if you're fulfilling the contract, quote unquote, individually, but the team's going to win 70 games, what does that do for any fan? Hey, it's great that Rodgers got their money worth because he's playing like a $500 million guy. If you're a fan, the importance is the win column. Like, are you going to win and be competitive? So now I don't care if he's making $5 or $500 million. If you're going to hit second or third in the lineup and play every day, you better perform because you need to help take advantage of a great situation right now.
Right. If the season proceeds like this for him and it's just the same in the second half and they fall out.
And they fall off, then it's go time for Vladdy.
Yes.
Then it's like, and I think he should be thanking his teammates, maybe the rest of the division. Like, thanks for putting me in a position where I can come out of the All-Star break launching. Mm-hmm. And he's going to have to do that at some point. They're going to need him because you're right. Like, Barger's been great. Clement's been really good recently. Eric Lauer has given them quality performances,
It's like if I asked you who is the best starting pitcher and who's the best position player so far, who do you think they are?
Well, the amazing thing is if you look at the three constants in the rotation, they're all the exact same.
Yeah. And it's just like, it's okay.
Yeah, like Barrios is the best ERA, but they've all pitched within 2 innings of each other, or 6 innings of each other, I believe. They all have a similar whip. They all have, I think two of them have given up 12 home runs. The other one's given up 11. It's almost impossible to distinguish between the three. Like Gausman, Barrios, and Bassett, they're all the same guy. And they've been good. None of them have been great, but they're good, and they're going to pitch every 5th day.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. I guess Barrios has been their best starter.
Springer?
I think it's going to be George. And Springer's one of the other 4 questions that have come up. Where is Vladdy's power? And the question of Springer's resurrection here. I mean, I thought coming into the season, it was more likely he would be designated for assignment than performing the way he's performing. I didn't think it was long off before they said, we got to do something here about George. It's so bad he can't play. If they were losing games, we got to put in a kid. We can't continue to justify him playing every day. This guy's leading off. This guy is a significant performer that's hitting for power. Now, he's going to run hot and cold. He cooled down a little bit coming down the stretch. Fine. But he has been a revelation for them.
Yeah.
Springer's been huge.
What year is it of the deal? 4?
He's got this year and next left, I believe.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think he's got 2 more.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, at this rate, he's playing. He's obviously going to perform for you the rest of this year, and I have seen no reason why he wouldn't be a part of the team next year. To his credit, man, it's been a great story.
And the other stuff that hasn't happened is everybody significant they got in the offseason has just been kind of not
That's
impactful.
the amazing thing.
It's crazy.
Santander has done
I told
nothing.
you their best players have been just okay, and everybody they got in the offseason who was important hasn't really done anything.
Yeah.
And they're going to be in first place. You'd be like, what? Wait, how?
Would seem impossible. And Varshaw's barely played.
Right. Yeah.
He's barely
best
played.
Defensive outfielder?
Yeah. And hits for pop and gives you some power, and he hasn't played. He hasn't been available. Santander, the pressure's coming for him.
Sure.
But that's another glass half full. First impression, not good. Yes, the injury, and now he's on the 60-day IL. But prior to that, he was terrible.
Yeah.
Atrocious to the point where they took him out of the lineup, I think, almost with a phantom. We just got to get him out. This is so ugly, we can't play him, and we got to come up with some reason, kind of like what they did with Bowden Francis. Just get him out of here and come up with something.
Mm-hmm.
But, Atkins just spoke on it the other day. They're looking for a power bat. There he is, a switch hitter who can hit for power. There's your trade deadline acquisition, ideally.
Yeah.
Scherzer has been healthy and pitching. We'll see what comes of that the rest of the way. Jimenez, his bat is as bad as it was in Cleveland. Basically a black hole at the plate.
Yeah.
They've got nothing out of him. It's
crazy.
Wild.
Yeah.
It's almost difficult to explain. Yet they're you look at the running or the hitting production, way better across the board.
Yeah.
They hit for average, they get on base pretty well. They're, clutch hitting, which has been such a concern in the past. And Barger's been good, Springer's been good, Kirk's been great. Alejandro Kirk's been great.
New contract.
Yeah, and he's paying it off.
But that's why I think about the trade deadline, and I hate this thing in hockey where they talk about own rentals. Drives me nuts because I just think it's spin by the GMs to not do anything.
It's
we got this guy.
But why would you trade, especially if you're a really good team, why would you trade the guy even if he is an expiring contract?
Right. But
rental.
The front office of the Jays could actually be maybe we just actually have own rentals, and it's actually not the stupidest, lamest.
It's not. It's a reasonable explanation. The question is, will it land with the marketplace, and is it actually smart business?
It won't land.
It won't land, but is it actually smart? How much of your chips should go into the middle here, if you're Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro? Because that's I think the third of the 5 questions that keep coming up. What are they going to do between now and the trade deadline? Because they don't, by all accounts, have a great farm system.
No.
They got 3 or 4 guys with value. They drafted a kid last night. Clearly, they're not going to flip him. I like that handle, JoJo Parker.
Yeah, it's a great name.
Great handle. But are you going to give up one of your 2 or 3 top guys?
Well, your team this is an old team, really. I guess the young guys coming up has made it less old.
But you're right. You throw Scherzer in there.
Barrios, Bassett, Gausman.
Yeah. Springer's playing every day. Like Santander's 31.
If not now, when?
Yeah. The question is, do you think you're a piece or two away from winning the World Series? Because ultimately, that's why you go all in at the trade deadline. If not to make it, you have to be thinking we can win it.
But if it's not now, when is it? It's not going to be. Is it going to be next year? Are you going to be better next year?
I mean, I didn't see this one coming, so I think I think what it's proving is it's difficult to predict year in, year out. But I hear you. I think you got to be careful. I mean, at some point you need a farm system. It feels like deja vu. We've had these chats with the Leafs
100%.
where you have been a big proponent of all in every single year.
And I stand by that. 100%.
No, I think you were wrong in retrospect.
I was right.
No, you were.
They didn't do enough, and they're
not wired.
Anywhere.
It doesn't matter who you acquired. If Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner can't get it done in the biggest moments, it doesn't matter who you pick up.
I can't have this.
They're not wired properly.
All right.
How do you look back on the Marner exit now that you know what you know?
Well, I stand by 2 years ago when I thought they should have traded him. I stand by last summer when I thought they should have traded him. Like, it was.
What about his
I wrote about this at the time. Like, it was like after last season, not this past season. I wrote something at the end where you could see the entire season something isn't right. He doesn't look happy here, and they didn't do anything. And it's like,
yeah, but he was going to stop it anyway.
How do you know?
Because I think it became very clear that he blocked the Rantanen deal.
Yeah, but that was because it was in the middle of the season. He's a pregnant wife at home. Like, you were putting.
I understand that. You're not wrong.
If you had forced
he was going to Vegas and only Vegas.
Maybe.
I don't think there's any questioning that.
But let me ask you this: if you go back to last summer and you force, and like I remember writing this, thinking this, talking to people about this. If you had forced a confrontation and said, you know what, this is not working. We need 5 teams. And then, like, maybe you can figure something out. Maybe those teams don't give you anything you want. I don't know, but it's not like Nicholas Waugh is like a great consolation prize.
No,
like, he's fine. Like,
I mean, they were in a bind.
But if you had forced something last summer, maybe history plays out differently. I have no idea. Like, who knows? But they didn't. They thought the downside, I guess, was not worth it. Like, they figured, like, if we go to those teams, we have a list of teams, and they don't give us anything, and then, like, we've already asked them for the teams, and now we're not going to like. But by not kind of kicking the hornet's nest, like, the hornet just kind of hung around and then stung them in the end. And anyway, so it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I am curious. I'd love to get an answer on what Shanahan and Treliving actually knew this time last year. Like, did they know he was out? Because now you're hearing stories. I don't know how true they are, but everyone's known. Everyone knew Marner was going to Vegas. Like, if they knew that, then that is significant malpractice. If they knew this guy is out of here and you let him play it out without making him uncomfortable.
Should have known. If I could see that he was out, how did they not? And honestly, I actually think they did see it.
Oh, it's not like they knew. I'm sure they knew
all
They're
this.
not
like
stupid.
They knew it wasn't working. He wasn't happy here, and like they. But it's like it's 2 years ago. It's 2023, and there's
isn't it something about Marner too that if you're so unhappy, why don't you go and ask for a change? Why is it on the Leafs to force
because
your way out?
Because maybe you just decided I'm going to play it out, and then I'm just going to choose where I want to go, and I'm not going to be forced into anything. I'm not going to.
Which is what he ultimately did.
I still get to play here. And, like, maybe at that point he's not sure. Like, maybe he's like, maybe it looks to me as someone, like, who is there with the team every day, but, like, not behind the scenes. I see them an hour a day.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe part of him is, like, 40% of him is like, you know what, maybe it can still work here. Maybe we can have a great playoff run. I can be awesome. Things change. The narrative changed. And I decide to stay and I decide to sign. But, like, if it's, like, 60%, it doesn't look like he's going to stay. You got to do something, like,
yeah.
But it's the whole. I don't know how we got to Leafs at 419.
Well, I got something that I'll get to this a little bit later on. What I think the league should do with his return, but I remember when we were discussing it, like the exit even prior to July 1st, and he was being compared to Vince Carter, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, he didn't quit on this team, he didn't demand out.
He didn't. That's not fair.
He didn't quit. He didn't demand out. But I think there is a very, very good chance mentally he was gone. And perception is reality. So if you're dealing with the mob and the way people are going to feel about you, because I was making arguments. I'm like, eventually dust settles. Bygones will be bygones. He'll probably retire his jersey in 20 years. I don't know anymore. because of the way this is being reported now on the way out. With like when he was in Vegas, he's like, yeah, well, yeah, at the Four Nations, we were talking about living in Vegas, and my wife was asking what it's like there. So you were in Vegas in February, you were gone? You were mentally gone. And is there a chance that maybe they could have brokered a deal last year and Vegas and Marner were like, why would we give up a real piece? Just wait a year. We'll catch you down the road.
Not impossible.
And then whose interest is he putting first? The Leafs or the Golden Knights? If there's any reality in that, he was putting the Golden Knights as his priority over the Maple Leafs, because to your point, he was already out, already not happy with everything. And, I don't think there's a chance he was vindictive enough to say, I'm playing this out and leaving to leave you guys in my dust. I don't think it's a 0% chance he thought that way.
That's inconceivable. And honestly,
exactly.
I don't know.
Go ahead. But what you're going to deal with is your hometown is going to continue to look at you through a more and more negative lens, which he may not care about, but it's a reality. Toronto's still here. He's in Vegas, but the Leafs and Leaf fans in Toronto still here.
But let me ask you this. What did he do wrong?
Well,
like in
his
whole
performances,
process.
Let's begin there.
For sure is like the playoff performance.
But isn't that the most important thing?
That's it. But in terms of why is he going? He's going to be a villain here. There's no doubt. But why? What did he do that was wrong?
The contract negotiation clearly. I mean, we don't have to dig up the whole thing. There's this.
But you don't have to negotiate he was under no obligation to negotiate a contract.
Right,
why?
but you're talking about fans here. And again, you're talking about why they would feel the way they would feel. There's two separate conversations, because I've had this argument before with Johnny and even O and those guys. Players, it's their life, it's their business.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not naive enough to say that, you got to do, I get it. I totally understand why they're like, this is my life. I want to get money. I want to get paid. I'm offering up a service. I understand that. But if that's your stance, this is you're asking what the fans are thinking, trying to justify where they're at. They don't think of it as a business. It is a fantasy for them.
Fair.
It is a large. You're living out the dream of millions and millions and millions of people in Toronto and fans throughout the world who are not going to look at it through that objective lens. They're going to look at it emotionally. And I think a lot of Leaf fans looked at it and said, "You're a local guy. You should know better." And I think, whether it was true or not, again, perception becomes reality. The perception was never with Mitch. He said he loved being a Leaf, but he didn't act that way. He didn't. You
don't think so?
Well, I mean, the negotiation's a perfect example, Jonas. Do you know how easy it would have been for him to pull up Matthew Nyes? Look what Nyes did. That kid grew up in Arizona. He's like, I want this done before July 1st. Let's get it done. Let's get something fair. And I just want to be. How is it different?
That's the original sin. But that's a significant 2019.
One.
He's 22, I think, 23 at that point.
It's still his.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, Nyes,
his legacy. Sure. Matthew Nyes, a kid from Arizona, said, "I want to be a Leaf. Let's get it done."
Yeah.
The kid from Toronto said, "I'm not showing up until you pay me exactly what I demand."
Fair.
That's not if you're asking for fans are going to say, "Wait a minute, are you serious, dude? What are you doing here? I thought you were a Leaf fan.
Yeah.
But you'd know better. Look how good you guys are. You got a chance to win here."
Yeah.
So that's how it starts. Then you tag on playoff performances that were simply abysmal in the biggest moments. Not alone.
Yep.
I always have to qualify that. It's not only him. I get it. There's other guys. But we're talking about Mitch, and he's the one that's left. That's how you deal with what you're dealing with now.
Yeah.
It's not hard to figure out.
No,
it's not. And I don't think the fans are being so crazy and lunatics up there. What a stupid, wild market. Totally reasonable for people, and not everyone feels that way.
No,
there's a lot of people from here that are really damaged by the fact that he left. Wanted him here. Wanted him to stay.
Well, I think part of that, if you want to split that into two, it's looking at the team now, and it's this team is worse.
Do you think the Boston Red Sox are worse without Rafael Devers?
That's not the
Why is it? Why?
Thing.
Did they not just run off 10 in a row?
You're telling me the Leafs are better without Marner?
I'm not
Look
sure.
At their team.
They might be. It's not on paper on July 14th, Jonas, is not when you play hockey. When Devers got flipped. But it's the truth, man. Literally. Now, again, we'll see what the Red Sox are in 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
But they just ran off 10 in a row. When Devers got traded, I thought, and all of it, they stink now. You just got rid of your best bat. They're going to fall off. The team collectively is in a better position. I'm not predicting that will happen. On paper, I'm not arguing against you. On paper, Marner clearly makes them a better team. But it's a team sport. It's a game.
Sure, yeah.
There's a lot of different things that go into it.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced that they're going to be awful because Mitch Marner's not on their team.
I don't mean awful, but I don't know how are they going to have more points than last year? I doubt it.
I don't know.
Are they going to be
what
better?
Does that mean?
Let me ask you, are they going to be better offensively? No. Are they going to be better defensively? Probably not. So, like, they're not better. There's no, you can't, I know what you're saying, like, you could take a piece out and, like, suddenly different things start to happen and, like, maybe they have a good season. Like, they could have a good season, sure. But I don't know how you
Are you preparing for a much worse season because just one player is gone?
I don't know what is much worse. Like, could I see them being like
low 90s and barely making the playoffs?
I don't think it's impossible. I would predict them in like. I
do you think that would be impossible if Marner was still here? Like, do you think Marner alone is worth like 10 points in the standings?
5 to 10? I don't know. I don't know I don't know the WAR metrics in hockey, but okay. He's probably their best defensive player, at least their best defensive forward. Mm-hmm. Unless you want to count Matthews, like one of those two.
Yeah.
And he's, if not their best offensive player, then he's their second best or third best offensive player.
Yeah,
so you take your best defensive player and your best offensive player off the team, you're going to be worse. You just are. He logged the most minutes on the team. Like, there's no way. First penalty kill, first power play, like first line. Mm-hmm. Come on, man.
Okay.
But like, you also have to factor in, it's like, well, that player, they didn't get that player in the playoffs. Like, that's what makes his legacy so difficult, is like, you almost have to have two conversations. It's like the regular season player, unbelievable.
One of the all-time great leaves.
Right? Like one of the
indisputable.
handful.
Yep.
But then, like, the playoffs is just, it never came together. Yeah. Actually, it came together like once or twice, but
yeah, when
he's a kid.
Not in the biggest moments. No. And it seemed to get worse and tougher as it went on. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just saying.
I know what you're saying. Like
their goalies are still here.
Whatever they want.
No, but in terms of the team building, like, they have both goalies.
Are they going to be as good next year? I have no idea. Are both goalies going to play as much as last year? I have no idea.
Well, I mean, okay, but maybe Marner's here and he blows out his knee in training camp. Like, if you know what I mean, you got to be reasonable with, are they going to, well, maybe they won't, maybe they'll be better.
But they had like top 10, top 5 goaltending last year. Is that going to happen again? I doubt it. Maybe.
Okay, so maybe that, and with or without Marner,
and they're going to be worse defensively because their best defensive forward is not on the team.
No, I mean, I think you got to be. They've got their 6 defensemen intact.
Okay,
a full year of Brandon Carlo.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So are they better right now than they were this time last year on defense?
Sure.
Are they, or are they not?
Sure.
You're not convinced.
I don't know. I mean, we talked all
just
last
because
year.
Of Mitch Marner.
They had a weird style of play that I don't know what it's going to look like next year, especially when they're not going to be. I don't think they'll score as much. Like, so what does that
they
mean?
may not. Although Matthews had the worst year of his career last year.
That's the big X factor.
So what if he has the best year of his career?
Maybe, yeah, 75.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not in a position where I get it on paper, but I don't think there's some garbage team now because Mitch Marner's not.
I don't think they're garbage.
But I'm sensing that people think that, like that. Oh, they're awful now. You lost Mitch Marner. How? Yes, you lost Mitch. That's a big hit. He's a really good winger.
It's like the second biggest hit you could take on the team.
No.
Yes, it is. After Matthews. No. It's Matthews and then him.
Okay, Come on. We'll discuss that a little bit later on.
Get out of here.
All right, Steve Phillips coming up. We got Keegan coming up. We've got Brian Crawford. So I am a CHL alumni myself. I'm concerned because the CHL, in my opinion, is under attack here. Like, you got Gavin McKenna going to Penn State, reportedly making $700,000 U.S. to do it. This new CBA, Frank Saravelli was reporting there's a provision in there that will allow one 19-year-old to play in the American Hockey League per NHL team. What is the CHL going to do about this? So Brian Crawford, their commissioner, will join us. We'll get his take on that. Or the OHL's commissioner will get his take on that, and more still to come. And we got Keegan coming up. We got Steve Phillips coming up. Jonas is in here. I got more on Marner. I got more on the Jays. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 2.
Back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
I need you to hold on. Heaven is a place not too far away. We all know I should be the one to say we all make mistakes.
All right, Overdrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Brian Hayes, Jonas Siegel. Got Steve Phillips coming up, home run derby. You're a derby guy, Jonas?
When I was a kid, I loved it. And
So
now
good.
I don't love it.
They've just made too many rule changes, which sounds kind of silly, but I don't really follow like the pyramid of winning anymore. You know what I mean? It used to be a clock and you had to hit as many as you could,
Yeah.
and then you just move on.
That's not how it works anymore?
No, now it's like you get unlimited pitches and you can stop the clock. I don't know. It's confusing. Bring back the old days. That's what I'm calling
I just
for.
like remember with Griffey, backwards hat.
Oh, it was unreal. Back in the day, it was amazing. Although
why?
everything was. When you were a kid, everything was different.
Yeah.
The All-Star game meant so much more. Like now I'm so much more cynical. Yeah, it's just a waste of everyone's time. All right, so Steve Phillips in about a half an hour on the Jays, kind of sputtering down the stretch, but they are at the All-Star break, leading the American League East. The Sox have won 10 in a row. We'll get his take on that and more. Keegan Matheson coming up. Keegan's going to be co-hosting with us a little bit later in the week, so we'll put him through the ringer. Look forward to that, seeing Keegan in here. But I am an OHL alum, barely, but I am, and I guess for that matter, a CHL alum. And this story that's been kind of building the last 6 months to a year has been concerning me, quite frankly. And it really came to a head with Gavin McKenna. I think it came out last week. He's going to Penn State, reportedly making $700,000 with the NIL rules down there. So he's gone. He's leaving the WHL. And Frank Saravelli, among others, were reporting that in the new CBA, NHL teams will be allowed to have one 19-year-old kid play in the American Hockey League. So this year, that could have been Easton Cowan. Maybe he doesn't go back to London. He's playing for the Marlies. I believe it's somewhat of an attack on the OHL, the CHL. I'm curious what our next guest has to say about it. Here he is, the commissioner of the OHL. Here's Brian Crawford. How you doing, Brian?
Afternoon, guys. Doing well. How about yourself?
Oh, doing very well. Am I overstating that, understating that? Where do you stand on this?
Yeah, I mean, way overstating it.
Okay.
You know, I think that it's been certainly an incredible time of change. The change to the NCAA regulations back in the fall has led to kind of a complete overhaul of development. And, certainly this year we've been, an incredible beneficiary signing, dozens of players from other leagues that have come to the OHL that, perhaps had chosen a different path. As you know, a 15-year-old before had to make a decision about where they were going to play and what they wanted their future to look like at a really young age. And now they have what is, we view a great opportunity to play in our league and develop here, and then have the opportunity to continue to pursue hockey. And for some, that might be at the NHL level. For some, that might be at the AHL level. And for some, that might give them the opportunity to move on to the NCAA. And, I think that's a great thing for the development ecosystem. It's a great thing for our league and the quality of our league and just hockey in general.
So when you hear the numbers thrown around, again, it's the early days of this, the NIL stuff down in the States with the NCAA. But like if Gavin McKenna, who's a WHL player, is making $700,000, how's he going to possibly turn that down? He didn't. He's off to Penn State. He's a phenom. He's unanimously expected to go first overall next year. Like, how do you respond to those numbers? And is it possible for you to compete with them, or are you not thinking of it in the same way?
Yeah, I mean, I think first and foremost, obviously, we of course want Gavin McKenna in the CHL, a generational player, and he's going to be successful wherever he goes. But I think that he's unquestionably an outlier in that regard, in that a player of his quality can have that success wherever he's going to go. He's going to be a first-round pick, head off to the NHL. That's not every player, right? And that's not even the majority of the players. we know that the NCAA is a much, much older league and has traditionally been a much, much older league. You look at the Frozen Four, you look at the average age of the teams. So it's not the best development environment for, most 18, 19-year-old players because it is such an older league than the CHL is. So I think that's a big factor in all of this as well. And the teams that are looking to win in the NCAA, they have a better likelihood to do that with older players. Now, generational players like Gavin and some other players may have an opportunity to go down there and have success. But that's a little bit of what I think needs to shake out as well, is to see that, hey, not getting top line minutes, not getting power play minutes, those sorts of things aren't actually the best pathway for a player to develop. For us in the OHL, there are 2 players that have chosen to forego their 19-year-old season at this point in time and head off to the NCAA early. We have quite a number of players that as OAs and those that have also graduated after being an overage player that have gone on, which is now a fantastic opportunity for them to continue to pursue, their hockey goals. Right. So that's kind of where we are, and we need to see, how things continue to develop and focus on, for us, what has made us the best development league in the world, and the stats bear that out. And, we'll focus on continuing to improve the player experience, doing more in the areas of sports science and strength and conditioning and nutrition and all the sorts of things that impact the player experience and also create better hockey players.
That's actually what I was curious about, Brian. What do you think do you think you need to adapt, change? How do you think the OHL, the CHL will, evolve, I guess, in light of all this?
Well, absolutely. We have to continue to adapt. We have to continue to adapt and evolve regardless of this change. And this change is one that, requires, everybody in the hockey ecosystem to adapt, right? Now being able to say, we'll truly have all the best 16, 17, 18-year-old players that are available and playing hockey. And the reality is we need to make sure that we're doing the right things so that they continue with us as 18 and 19-year-olds, continue to develop, that we provide all of the sorts of tools that are necessary to ensure that a player can reach their development goals, right? And so if we're not doing those things, then we are going to fall behind. We are going to be left behind. We're just, comfortable with sitting on, hey, we've had the most number of draft choices, the majority of the players in the NHL, those sorts of things. Well, that's not always going to be the case. And certainly, we're competitive and want to continue to make sure that we maintain the pole position.
With Brian Crawford, the commissioner of the OHL. And, that's a point that I hadn't thought of, the idea that I remember when I was coming up, there was great players that wouldn't play in the OHL. I wasn't one of them, but they wanted to keep, their options alive. I think of a guy like Mike Camilleri. Cammy went to Michigan. He clearly would have been in the OHL at 16. He would have gone first overall. Played at 16, played at 17. Maybe he goes, to Michigan after that based on where we currently stand. But in terms of this provision that was reported on last week, and I don't know if it's 100% confirmed from the league, but it sounds as if the NHL and the NHLPA have brokered a deal here where each NHL team, so 32 current teams, will be afforded or allowed one 19-year-old CHL player to play in the American Hockey League. If and when that comes to fruition, how would you react to that?
Yeah, so first of all, not accurate.
Okay.
So there is a provision right now in the agreement between the NHL and the NHLPA, and then, of course, ourselves, the CHL and the NHL, that does allow the 19-year-old players to play, a fixed number of games in the AHL, but does require them to go back to junior hockey.
Okay.
So in this current round of negotiations with the collective bargaining with the NHL and the NHLPA, they've agreed to open that provision and look at what that might look like going forward, and whether providing teams and general managers the leeway to do something like that is in the best interest of the league, in the best interest of the development environment. So as it stands today, nothing has actually been decided about mechanics or anything like that, if it is even to go forward. And those are discussions that we actually are very much active in with the NHL in talking about how best to proceed and move forward. We would certainly contend that the AHL is not the best environment for a 19-year-old. Very, very few 19-year-olds, in fact. It's not just about scoring 100 points in the OHL that decides, kind of whether that person should be moving on or not. You think about a 19-year-old, think about Easton Cowan coming back to the Knights this year. He's the man, right? He's the man. He's the man on the ice. He's the man off the ice, in the dressing room, all around media, all those sorts of things, the leadership qualities, all the pieces that make for a great NHL or a great prospective NHL hockey player that they can gather. You know, the AHL is a man's league, right? There are men trying to make the NHL. And, you know, we certainly contend that the environment in the CHL is much better suited. And it is also not just about that player, but it's also about developing all of the future players so that next year's draft, the year after that, all are quality drafts because those players have been playing against elite players as well.
With Brian Crawford, the commissioner of the OHL. And when I'm curious about this, because, you know, there's 3 leagues, 3 commissioners. London obviously just won the Memorial Cup. In your rookie season as the commissioner, what was that experience like for you? And how do the 3 commissioners kind of handle the battle once you get to the finish line?
Well, you know, that's the interesting thing. You know, all 3 commissioners are relatively new, really within 2 years, Mario Cecchini being the most veteran of the group, Dan Neer, and then myself. So all relatively new in our positions from different backgrounds, quite diverse from really the commissioners that were previously in the role. So the 3 of us, along with Dan McKenzie, the president of the CHL, worked together, you know, extremely well, extremely closely, you know, on a almost daily sometimes, but certainly weekly basis on all the matters related to the CHL and our respective leagues. And of course, there's the competitive spirit. You know, I wanted the OHL to be hoisting the Memorial Cup at the end of all of it. And,
yep.
You know, we might have sat next to each other to watch the game, and we're definitely jabbing each other a little bit here and there. So, you know, it's a great collegial environment. We are kind of lockstep in making sure that the CHL, you know, is the best league in the world and continues to grow and expand and go in new directions that, you know, make it an even better product for the fans and the communities that, you know, we're lucky to be in.
Yeah, I love hearing that. I love the OHL. I love the CHL. I think I speak for Canadians from coast to coast. I'm not telling you anything you don't know, Brian, but I appreciate your insight as always. And enjoy the rest of the summer. We'll do it again in the fall. Thank you for this.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
There he is, Brian Crawford, commissioner of the OHL. So interesting that, you know, he brings up a very good point about keeping your, I guess, ability to go to the NCAA. That was always an issue for a lot of 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds. But now that the rules are completely changed, you don't have to play like junior B or junior A. You don't have to. You can go to the OHL. You can go to the CHL and play, even if your intention is to leave. Mm-hmm. But you can get 2 years out of, you know, a kid that goes to college where you didn't get to have that in the past. And obviously what their attack plan is, based on what Brian's insinuating, is get them in and try to keep them. But, you know, we'll see what happens with the NHL stuff if they open the door for a 19-year-old to play.
I like that rule, I got to be honest.
To what? Allow them to go play in the American League?
Yeah, because like every year at training camp, like just covering the Leafs, there's always one, not always, but there's usually one player who is like, yeah, shouldn't really be going back to junior. Like he's probably too good for junior, but he's clearly not good enough for the NHL. And it's like, well, what do you do with him? Like Cowan was a great example last year. It's like he had this unbelievable year 2 seasons ago, and then he comes to camp and it's like he's not ready. Like it's very clear he's not ready. And like, what are your options? Like you can't put him in the NHL because he's not ready, and you can't put him in the AHL because he's too young. So like, so you just have to send him back, and it's like that doesn't feel like a fair solution for him,
even for the player. Exactly.
Yeah, like I know what Brian's saying. Like
every league has like he's representing the Ontario Hockey League, which he should. That's his 100%. Job. 100%. You know, but yeah, I mean, and I hear you. And what I think what'll be interesting from a PA standpoint is if that player's playing in the American League, is his pro contract starting? Like, is his entry level officially starting, even though he's playing the American League?
I would think no.
But if that's the case, then there's no, like, we're just going to start him in the American League and then bring him up. Like, the thing is about going back to junior, you're in junior. There's no calling you back up. What if you keep a 19-year-old, plays in the American League through 30 games, you're like, he's ready for the NHL. Can you bring that kid up? Or is there an agreement that he's got to stay in the American League the whole year?
Think so.
Okay, then if I'm the player, I'm like,
once he comes up. But then what does he get paid?
But if the PA, exactly, you're like, I'm a professional then. Like if you want me to play in the American League as a professional, I'm starting my NHL
I think
contract.
Honestly, like I haven't thought this through, but I would think a team would be okay with that. Like you want to burn 1 year, the entry level, just playing it like
those are so valuable though, man.
They are and they're not. Like because like he's burning it in a year, he's not doing anything. So he's like, you know what I mean? You're getting closer to becoming a restricted free agent with your next contract, but you haven't done anything. Mm-hmm. Like it's almost
so in terms of him building up his value and what case he's going to make.
Exactly. Like I don't.
Yeah. I guess you could spin it either way.
Sure.
But it's just a fascinating time. Like, and he brings up a good point. Like, the exceptional players are going to have the opportunity to go down there. But he said there's 2 players in the O. I believe I've heard some rumors or reports that there's already players like committed after next year to go down. And it's about the money. Like, that's what you can't control. Like, yes, it's tough if you're 18 down there. Yes, it's tough if you're 19. But if a college is like, I'll give you $1 million, I'm willing to test it out. If I'm 18 and you give me $1 million or $500,000 American, I'm going. I'm not playing in Peterborough anymore.
This may be a dumb question. I don't know anything about this. Could they pay players here? Like, could junior teams pay players?
No,
Do they not make enough money?
Well, you get paid.
But it's like nothing.
You get paid. Like I used to get $150 a week.
No, but like, could you play a player $100,000?
No, that gets dicey because then I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, then I guess ostensibly you could technically open the books to do anything, but then are the players unionized? Do you have a salary cap? Like, that's the thing about the NIL stuff in the States. It's just bedlam.
Yeah.
It's just all hell's broken loose. There's no limit on anything. There's no cap. There's nothing. All right, Steve Phillips in about 15 minutes. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 2.
Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, Steve Phillips coming up in about 10 minutes. See your boy Yannick Sinner. Are you a Sinner guy?
I watched that. It wasn't the best.
Well, Sinner just kind of...
He just like took over and it was over.
Dominated.
He was unreal.
Nah, it was much better than the women's final. 6-love, 6-love.
Yeah.
That was tough. Like, we were up north, and my father-in-law and mother-in-law, like, huge tennis fans. They're running in, and they're like, it's over. It's over.
You can think of this throughout the show. What's the worst sporting event you've been to because of like
the build-up and it falls
the build-up
flat?
and it's terrible.
That one's got to be up there, right? Like that, like going to a tennis final, like a championship
awesome.
match that finishes in that style in under an hour.
Yeah.
Like I got dressed up. I paid a fortune for those tickets. Wimbledon final on a Saturday afternoon.
And it's just over.
And it's over.
Not interesting.
Like find someone else to play.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want to protest and be like, get someone out here? Steffi Graf, like come on.
One of the challengers.
Someone else, like the ball girls can go out and play, or ball boys. I don't know. Someone go out there, pick up 2 rackets and play. I'm not leaving.
What was that fight, the big fight way back in the day that ended in like 9 seconds or something?
Was that a Tyson fight?
I think so.
Probably a Tyson fight. Yeah, those ones sting. Those ones are bad to build up. But you kind of understand that can happen.
Sure.
And I guess technically someone can lose 6-love, but it was ugly. Hour 2 coming up. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
drama, the chaos, the aggression that Toronto brings us every year.
Ontario Honda dealers Indy Toronto on TSN and TSN Plus.
This is OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
Hour 2 OverDrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Brian Hayes, Jonas Siegel of The Athletic. Steve Phillips coming up in just a moment. We've hit the All-Star break. Jays 55-41, a 2-game lead on the Yankees, 3-game lead on the Red Sox. And all of a sudden, the Rays can't win anything. But, like the Sox just swept them. But sets up for an awesome second half. And we've touched on, the questions that have kind of been hovering around me the last 10 days. I'm sure you're experiencing the same thing. Like water cooler.
You? Oh.
Well, I mean, you run into people and they want to talk Blue Jays. Like there's certain things, that kind of follow the Jays chat.
Yeah.
I think probably from coast to coast.
That's a good segment for you to do.
You think so?
We got to workshop it a bit, but it's like, what's like the water cooler? Nobody does water coolers anymore, but it's like.
What's following you around? Like what are you being asked in the streets?
Yeah.
And I think what they're going to do at the trade deadline is a big one. We'll ask Steve Phillips about that. I think Vladdy, I don't even know how to describe his season. Like he's got 12 home runs.
Mm-hmm.
Just the powerless nature of, and he really didn't perform well over the weekend. He was terrible over the weekend. And again, that last game in Chicago was, you could point to him on a couple of occasions where he cost them. So Vladdy, the offseason no-shows, which we've talked about, Santander, Scherzer, Jimenez, they really haven't brought much. But internal improvements is what sticks out as well, because we goofed on that term so many times last year. Ross Atkins, Mark Shapiro, internal improvements. But ultimately, that, I think, is why they're in the position they're in it.
Yeah.
Like Alejandro Kirk, George Springer, Addison Barger, Ernie Clement. These are all internal improvements.
But do you think they actually believe that, or that's just something you say when, like,
it's a catchphrase
on Soto and like,
yeah, it's a please leave me alone for.
It's
a
like
minute.
when you go up to talk to the bosses, you have to be like, well, we're counting on internal improvement. That's what we think is going to happen.
It's a great way to just kick the can down the road, isn't it?
Yeah,
how do you intend on improving this year? Well, internally. It's one way.
They're just going to be better.
It's internal improvements, man. Everyone's going to pull their socks up that much more. It is the emptiest of empty calorie comments. Yet, again, I think it's arrived. It's arrived for the Blue Jays this year.
It's funny, like you mentioned Vladdy. For the first month and a half, my guy, Juan Soto, signed an incredible contract and was really scuffling, and I was getting worried. And then he just took off, and now he's
Although the All-Star game, what happened there?
He got snubbed, but you look at his numbers the last month and a half, he's back to being unreal.
Well, when you sign, was it a 15-year deal?
I think so. It
was something like that, 14 or 15-year deal. You don't the first month and a half is probably not going to really define what's going to happen. Like with him, it was a 15-year deal. What's going to happen with Soto is what you do down the stretch and what you do in the playoffs.
And he's a playoff monster.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, the Mets will be good. They'll be fine.
Yeah,
they'll probably be active, I would think. Yeah, between now and the end of the month.
Yeah, Dodgers haven't been amazing.
Isn't that something? Like when
20 wins.
Remember they went to Japan and they skunked the Cubs, that 2-game series, punked them, and then didn't they start 8-0 or 10-0 or something like that? And at that point, we were legitimately having chats about the 0-1 Mariners, 116 wins, they're going to pass them, 120 wins.
Conceivable. They had this 7-deep rotation. They had 2 top 10 players.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It didn't.
And Freddie Freeman not far off.
Yeah, and he's really fallen off, and it's oh man.
But that's sports, man. That's when we get into the Marner stuff, which again I got.
We should just do a full
more on that in 20 minutes. I got more on that in 20 minutes.
Okay.
Including what the league should do, but I'm certain they won't do about it when it comes to his return. We'll get to that in 20 minutes.
Did you see the first games they scheduled? What are they doing?
Why is Chicago playing Florida?
Right?
On the first game of the NHL season.
Pittsburgh's playing somebody. It's
the Rangers.
Pittsburgh to start the year, really?
I know. But this. Listen,
Insane.
Yeah, it's insane. But it's the hockey market.
Like, who remembers the first game?
No,
it's like,
I know.
People are excited for the first game, and that's your first game, really?
But I guess they're looking at it like we need Chicago, we need Pittsburgh, we need New York. Like that's the way they operate. It's always the kind of Midwest and Northeast United States. That's what matters.
Fair.
And it's almost, again, an admission, like we can't just sell Florida because no one down there is going to watch.
Like, I don't know scheduling, but why wouldn't you just do Edmonton, Florida to start the year?
Totally
Bang.
agree. Start Edmonton through that, even if it's a one-off.
Yeah.
Like, I know that that's very difficult to justify. I get it. So if you're down there, you got to play Tampa, then you got to play Carolina.
But
like, that's
imagine
way
the
it goes.
buzz heading into that game.
Yeah, right off the
Back-to-back
bat.
finals, cup champions against the team they just beat twice.
Yeah, right off the bat.
McDavid, we don't know what's happening. Like, who knows? We'll know his
Or have
contract
them play
situation.
Tampa.
Yes.
Have like a major rival.
Yeah, and if you want to get those other teams in there, have Philly play Boston or New York play Boston.
Mhm.
Like Chicago, Florida. Like,
Well,
come on.
Chicago, like the Bedard conversation this year is going to be fascinating for me.
So many different ways.
Yeah, like he's got to have a great season. Has to. Has got to have a launching pad season. Doesn't mean you got to win the Hearts or be in contention. You don't have to individually drag your team anywhere. That's too lofty of expectations. They're not good enough. But I think he's got to be touching up on like 35, 40 goals, point a game, and looking more like a professional player and like a dominating player in the future. But he sold tickets when he arrived. I don't think he does that anymore. Like, I think he's got to win the crowd back.
Bad every year. Is this will be year 3?
Third year.
Man, to be bad 3 years, like that's full entry level.
Where does Bedard rank for you? Like, you have the luxury of seeing everyone play.
Mm-hmm.
Where is he for you? Like, when you look at the sked for the Leafs and you're like, when is Chicago rolling through town?
That does not cross my mind.
No.
Just because, like, they're bad. Like, that game is not going to be interesting. He's interesting, but the team is, like, just...
No, I hear you.
And honestly, like, I haven't studied Chicago's offseason, but it does... Like, I don't know what they're doing. Like, it doesn't...
I don't think anyone really knows.
It's like, what is this team?
Yeah, they're going to be... I think they're going to be terrible again, I think.
Yes.
I mean, I fully expect they're in on Gavin McKenna next year.
Yeah, which would be pretty fun if he went there.
Yeah. But, like...
But he's
put that
not on
into
my
perspective.
radar, really.
No, but he probably was as a rookie. Like he was for me.
Sure. Yeah,
Like, when he came out of the
Celebrini,
league,
like, I'm excited to see.
see, there you go. Year 2, I want to see him. Like Celebrini would probably be higher on my list than Bedard
Yeah.
for what I want to see. Now, obviously, McDavid's going to be at the top, and there's a bunch of superstars you want to see play.
But that's the thing where, like, sports is so, like, we just have the MLB draft is last night, today, and forever. But it's like you get into a situation, and it's like you're kind of stuck a little bit by your situation. Like, if you have a crappy situation, really can screw up your career.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even just think, like, you can think of all the different NFL players, quarterbacks, whoever. If you go to the wrong team, like, I don't know.
Yeah, if you go to the Jets, if you go to the Browns,
like Zach
Jaguars,
Wilson might have been bad no matter where he went.
Maybe not.
I guess that was an okay situation. Like, they had a good defense. I don't know.
But the Jets are the
But
Jets.
they're the
man.
Jets. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they stink. Like they will find a way to damage themselves. Like that's the way the New York Jets operate. And they haven't made the playoffs in 14 years?
Yeah. Like Buffalo, like you.
Yeah,
go
the
to
Sabres.
and it's just
Unfortunately, if you get drafted by them, you're like, oh, really?
and then like look at what's happened to some of the guys who've left there, and they go on. It's like, oh, he is good.
Yeah, but you got to get out. Got to get out, and you got to keep like your willpower alive, man.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It must be hard.
Yeah,
Losing all the time.
Well, and that's what I worry about with Bedard. I worry like what if it's another horrendous season? Where's his head going to be at? And at what point does he have the right to start putting pressure on the team to start doing something?
He can sign an extension, I think, right now.
Yeah, I guess he could, yeah.
And it's like, maybe you just kind of play it out and be like, I'm going to see what's happening here.
But don't you think the team has to be thinking that a little bit too?
I would be terrified if he left, wouldn't you?
It's not about him leaving. It's about what's he making. Like through 2 years,
I don't know how
he's been good. He's been very good at times.
But I'm just thinking like we have Steve coming up. I'm thinking like watching Mike Trout now. And it's like he's having like an okay year, and the Angels have been like a little better than expected. But like
still terrible.
They're bad. His whole career is going to pass by, and
yeah.
Just gonna,
but I think he's fine with it because he made all that money. He loves Southern California.
Yeah, I don't
like. Yeah, but if he wanted out, he could have got out.
Sure.
Mike Trout chose like Ohtani said, "I'm out." Trout's a different beast. He doesn't want to leave. All right, joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline, here's our TSN baseball insider, Steve Phillips. How you doing, Steve?
Doing great, guys. Good to be with you.
Yeah, great to be with you. Are you a home run derby guy, or was that for 30, 40 years ago?
No, I like the home run derby, and I actually called it a few times with Chris Berman and Joe Morgan and back in the day, and so I actually enjoy it. I do. I like the show. I like seeing the players laugh and smile and celebrate each other's greatness, and I think the reaction of the players to the players is the part that I think is really so much fun to watch.
Well, something I didn't foresee happening, and I don't think you did either when we were chatting during the winter months and even leading into the regular season here, was the Blue Jays would hit the break sitting atop the American League East, 55-41. If there's one particular reason for why they're in the position they're in, what would that reason be?
Yeah, I think it's the depth of the lineup. They out of nowhere, you get Ernie Clement and Addison Barger and, Alejandro Kirk putting together an amazing offensive season. And, then Nathan Lucas comes up with hits and Springer a major bounce back season. I mean, I don't think any of those could necessarily have been anticipated. I mean, you hoped that they would all be better, but I think they've gotten even more production than I think they even anticipated right now. And, it's made up for the fact that Vladdy's not quite been his best.
Okay, we dropped them. We're having a tough time here with Steve. It was late getting them, and we'll see if we can get them back.
But that's the point to pick up on with Vladdy.
Vladdy, you're a glass half full guy.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect from him in the second half. Like, to your point, like, he's never, outside of the 1 year, he's never been like a huge power guy.
Mm.
But this is like, doesn't Barger have as many home runs as he does?
Yeah, he's got 12.
And
like,
Cal
there are
Raleigh
guys
has 39.
Yeah. The amazing thing about Raleigh is, like, he's having such a remarkable year.
Crazy.
And Judge is breathing down his neck in every category.
Did you see that stat with Judge with 350 homers?
No.
So he's the fastest player in MLB history to get to 350 homers. He's like 200 games ahead of Mark McGwire's pace. Isn't that insane?
Yeah. And yet he's in his 30s. Like, he didn't get to the bigs until he was 25.
Yeah.
All right, Steve, we got you. And you were talking about Vladdy there, and that's a big conversation up here. Even with, again, the team being in the position they're in, the pressure's got to be on this guy to perform a lot better in the second half.
Yeah, it does, because at some point you have to expect regression toward the mean for some of the other guys, right? They're going to fall back a little bit. The league's going to make an adjustment. And that's when Vladdy's going to have to put the team on his shoulders. You get $500 million. You got to carry the team for you got to be the one leading the way, and then other guys would piggyback on top of what you're doing. And Bichette too, for that matter. He's in the walk year of the deal. He needs to hit for more power and give them that. And if those two guys can become, their best, then I think it takes so much pressure off everybody else. And I think that it can sustain this winning streak they've been on.
Yeah, they've been red hot. I mean, up until the last couple games, I guess, in Sacramento and the getaway game down in Chicago. They lost 3 or 4 coming home, but still they're sitting atop the American League East, and we're inching closer to the trade deadline, and that's the next conversation. Now that we're through, the draft last night, we expect Santander to return off the IL at some point, expect Varsho to return to the lineup at some point. What do you think is reasonable to expect Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro to do leading up to the trade deadline?
Yeah, I think they're going to focus on pitching. They've gotten production out of the bottom part of the lineup, and they expect Santander and Varsho to be back. They expect more from Vladdy. I think it's going to come down to adding just one starting pitcher. And I think ideally I'd like it to be a more front-end guy and then, a lesser reliever. But if you can't get a front-end guy, a Zach Gallen or somebody like that, then I think you get, a depth piece just to protect with Scherzer and his health. And if Eric Lauer sort of falls off a little bit, and then I'd get a closer. I'd get Helsley from St. Louis. I'd get Emmanuel Clase from the Guardians. There's some talk that he could be available, and there's a couple of years of control there. But I think they've got to think big with it. And, if they don't get end-of-the-game relievers, I think I'd get 2. I think they need some help from the left side in the pen. But I think pitching's the way to go right now. And they've got to hope and expect that Santander and Varsho give them something more.
Yeah, and it's interesting you mentioned the closer because we've been talking about the offseason moves that haven't done anything, Santander being one of them. Scherzer's been injured. Jimenez has done basically nothing at the plate. Yet Hoffman, has been healthy. He's got a 5 ERA. What is your read on what's up with him? Because he's not blowing a lot of saves. I think he's blown 4 saves so far, and he's available for them. But you get a guy in a position like that where his ERA is up over 5, that's trouble, and it's trending towards it being very troublesome once the lights are the brightest.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that, it's one thing that, you're dicey in the regular season. You may blow a game here and there in the regular season. You want predictability of the playoffs, that you've got a lead, you're going to close it out, you're going to get a win. Because, one blown save in the playoffs costs you a series, and you can't afford to do that. And that's why I prefer to get the closer, move Hoffman to the 7th inning, 8th inning. It's really where he's been most of his career as opposed to the 9th. And that way you've got some depth, you've got some options in case, your other closer is used 3 days in a row and you need to bring in Hoffman, you can do it. I just want to take the burden off him. I just don't see him as necessarily that lockdown guy, and I think they need to find one.
So we'll get you out of here with a question about the American League East in general, because the Jays have just won 10 in a row. They're sitting atop the division. The Yankees are 2 games back. The Sox just wrapped up 10 wins in a row, which obviously that winning streak will continue post-break. Where do you project this going? Blue Jays, Yankees, Red Sox, the Rays are sputtering, but they've been pretty good this year. How many teams do you think make the playoffs, and who do you think wins the division?
Yeah, I think you've got a chance to have 4 teams in the American League East make the playoffs.
Wow.
I do. I think Tampa Bay, Toronto, Boston, and the Yankees. I don't really believe in Seattle. I don't think anybody else in the Central is going to put them. And I think Tampa Bay is really good. Now, I think the Blue Jays can hold on and win this division. But I think a general manager may decide who wins the division and who's the wild card teams and how they line up accordingly, right? So the Yankees, they need to fortify their pitching with some of the injuries they've had. They could use some bullpen help as well. The Red Sox need more pitching too, and I think they're going to let the young kids play. Tampa Bay, they're already starting to fortify the bullpen. They got the Baker kid from the Orioles, and I think they're going to focus more on pitching as well. So I think the general managers in this division are going to decide the order in which they finish, because I think they're that closely matched.
Always great catching up with you, Steve. We'll do it again soon.
Terrific, guys. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Steve Phillips, our TSN Baseball Insider, joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline. Drive the built-in Canada fuel-efficient, fun-to-drive Toyota RAV4. Gas or hybrid models available. Visit mapletoyota.com. That's an interesting way to phrase it, that the GM will determine who wins and who doesn't. When you're that close, it's a 5.5 game spread between the Jays and the Rays with the Yankees and Red Sox in between. Lots of baseball left to be played. 70 games. What do you do? Famously in 15, that's when the Jays were 50-51, and Anthopoulos put all his chips in the middle and said, we're going to get Price, we're going to go get Tulowitzki.
Was that the Josh Johnson?
No, that was in.
Was that the year?
In 12 or 13. That's when earlier? They got Burley and they got Reyes, and in 15 was when Donaldson had arrived.
I love the aggressive approach, as you know.
Yeah. Listen, I get it. That team went to an ALCS. They ended up carrying it over, went to the ALCS in 16 as well. I think that team was better than this team. Top to bottom, yes. They were a better team. But, I agree with them in terms of pitching. I think that's what they're going to attack. Try to find another arm for your rotation, load up on an arm or two in the bullpen, and hope that this offense that you've seen will only improve with Vladdy getting better. Bichette could be better. Santander and Varsho return. That's your team.
I was going to ask you, who would be your game 1 starter today? Barrios?
Yeah, I think Barrios. I think I'd go Barrios, Gausman.
Bassett?
Yes. Scherzer's intriguing to me. What is he?
If he's healthy, he might be your game 1 starter.
If he's healthy and he's got stuff, he is alive and his arm is alive and he looks, because he is built for a moment like that.
He's a big game pitcher as it gets.
Yeah.
But that's old him.
Right, but
not old him.
Modern baseball, starters, they want you to go twice through the rotation. That's what they're asking for. Like, basically, get me.
Famously here.
Yeah, exactly. Barrios out. Who was it? Kikuchi that went in.
It didn't go.
Didn't go so well. But that's the way it goes. I mean, you basically say, can you give us 3 innings, 4 innings, and then we're going to hand it over to the bullpen anyway. So it's not like you're looking for Scherzer to give you some masterpiece, 115 pitch, 8 inning, Kurt Schilling type outing. You're just saying, can you give me 75 pitches strong and get out? I think it's possible it's him.
Don't you feel like there will be pressure on the front office to actually have playoff success this year? Like, obviously that's built in, but they've been here a really long time, and they've won nothing, no games.
0 playoff games.
0 playoff games?
0 playoff games.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So it's like...
I hear you. I mean, I think it would be valuable to their resume if they picked up a wild card win. Maybe you lose in game 3 instead of game 2. But they've been in the playoffs twice. Well, it's a little bit deceiving because Shapiro was here in 16.
But that was like Anthopoulos.
I know,
16.
exactly. So if you start the clock in 17 and move on, they've been in the playoffs twice, and they lost both in 2, right? The Twins in Seattle.
Yeah.
I remember that Seattle game. They were winning 8-1, I think, and they lost 10-8 or 9-8. Remember that game where they just threw it away? And I think Alek Manoah, was he pitching? He was pitching game 1 of that series. He had a rehab start. Didn't go so well. But it's kind of interesting that he is like back on the mound and registering a box score at a minimum. Like Alek Manoah is back in the Blue Jays universe. The likelihood of him ever pitching for this team again, I would say, is incredibly thin. But it'll be that's the ultimate redemption story. Like, if he could ever battle his way back to the majors and perform, forget getting back to where you were expected to be the ace for the next decade. Just be a guy who makes it and pitches.
Yeah.
That'd be a really cool story.
This is not a perfect comparison, but do you remember Rick Ankiel?
Yeah, of course. Pitcher turned hitter.
Right. And like he kind of he flamed out, if I recall, as a pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
And then he came back as an outfielder and like hit for power.
He played like he was the
good.
Cardinal.
Like, and I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a cool story.
So maybe he should become a shortstop.
You think Manoah should start swinging the bat, become a power? What is he? I don't know what he hits. Left, right, switch hitter? Who knows? All right, Keegan Matheson in about an hour. Luke Wilson coming up as well. The Argos had a bye week this week. Sounds like Chad Kelly, though, right around the corner. So we'll catch up with Luke, get his take on that, what else he's seen throughout the CFL. Rookies reporting for camps throughout the NFL. And ESPN just released their top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, according to execs. They pulled, like, executives, scouts, GMs.
I want to guess right now before I see the list.
Okay, why don't we come back? You can guess.
Okay.
We'll go through the list. And I got to take on Marner's return and what the NHL should do, but what I don't think they have the stomach for.
Nice.
OverDrive continues, TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
Back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
Someone pour me up a double shot of whiskey. They know me and Jay Dale's got a history. There's a party downtown near 5th Street. Everybody at the bar getting tipsy.
All right, Luke Wilson in about a half an hour. Something to chew on, brought to you by Boston Pizza, and coming up as well. So ESPN has polled executives, coaches, scouts, and asked them to rank the 10 best quarterbacks in the NFL. Top 10 QBs for the upcoming 2025 season.
Okay.
All right, Jonas, you want to guess?
Yes, I made my own
10?
top 10.
Do you want to start at 1 or get down to 10? How are you going to do this?
Which do you want me? Do you want me?
I think we all know, like, as you get higher up, we know the names. So why don't you start at 10?
Okay. Jaden Daniels.
Okay. He is on the list. He's not at number 10.
He's number 10. 9, CJ Stroud.
Stroud is not on this list.
Okay, I was worried about him because he didn't have.
He had a down year last year.
Matthew Stafford, 8.
Stafford is on the list.
Okay.
He's not at number 8 on this, but he's on the list.
Justin Herbert.
Herbert's on the list.
Where's 6? Jared Goff.
Goff is on the list.
Number 5, Jalen Hurts.
Hurts is on the list.
Number 4, Joe Burrow.
Burrow's on the list, and I believe Joe's at number. No, he's not.
Okay. Lamar, number 3.
Yeah, Lamar's on the list.
2, Josh Allen.
Of course.
And 1, Patty.
Patrick Mahomes. All right.
And now, wait, can I tell you, these are my
here's what
honorable
I'll say.
mentions.
CJ Stroud is the only one you missed. Stroud is not on
Okay,
it.
so
Who do you think is in?
So these were the candidates.
I think this is going to
sure
surprise you, but
Okay.
go ahead.
So I was debating between Dak, Purdy, your boy Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Caleb Williams, Geno Smith.
Who are you going with? I'll give you one trade. Stroud out. Who's in? You did name him, one of those guys.
Purdy.
Baker Mayfield. Baker is number
Wow.
10 on the list, which I find fascinating.
Wow.
We were just talking about Alec Manoah. Like, you talk about a guy, first overall,
Brought
Cleveland.
him in mid-season.
Get out of here.
Carolina.
Yeah, they punt him out of there because Deshaun Watson's got to come up. And since he got down to Tampa, this guy has been a beast.
Yeah.
Like, he has been a beast. They make the playoffs the last 2 years. He's been consistently good. He's fearless. He's got courage,
moxie.
man. He's a gunslinger. I love Baker Mayfield, man. I got to be honest. I love Baker. So Baker's at 10.
Okay.
Baker's at 10. Jalen Hurts at number 9.
Wow. See, I thought I had him a little low at 5, but that's interesting.
9 to me is giving too much credit to the rest of the team, even though they're a great team. They just won the Super Bowl, but just taking too much away from him. Yes, they have a very good offensive line. Yes, they have great weapons. They got a great defense, but Hurts can play, man. Like, he's a leader. He can play. You get him at the goal line. The guy is.
But his appeal feels more, he's going to run. He's going to scramble.
Yeah. And I think
as a pure quarterback,
I understand that.
I get it.
And that's probably why he's at number 9, because I think scouts would look at it and say, not as good in the pocket, not as pure of an arm, doesn't trust maybe the way he reads defenses as much as other players.
Yeah.
So I get it, but he's been to 2 Super Bowls. He just won one. He won a Super Bowl MVP. They win a lot of games every year. He's a really good player.
Yeah.
Like, yes, he's a product of his environment to some extent, but everybody is.
But let's keep going through the list.
Jalen Hurts at 9, Jared Goff at 8. Same thing.
Goff over Hurts is fast.
But that's the thing. Like, Goff is in a great position in Detroit.
The best.
Maybe the best O-line in the league, 2-back system, weapons everywhere.
Yeah. But
Great coach.
But if
Ben
I asked
Johnson
you,
is OC.
So pretend like the Packers can just have Goff or Hurts. Who would you take? I think he might take Goff, honestly. It's crazy.
I might, but here's why I'd take Hurts.
Okay.
What scares me a little bit about Goff is his splits. Like, he's in
Away
a dome.
from
Yeah, he's on
Detroit?
turf.
Sure.
Started his career in LA. Like, I don't know what he's like in the elements outside. Hurts in Philly, he gets it done outside.
Okay.
So if you're asking me as a Green Bay fan, I think I'd take Hurts. He's younger too. Okay, Jared Goff at 8. These are the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, according to GMs, coaches, and scouts, courtesy of ESPN. Number 7, Justin Herbert.
Okay. That's where I had him.
I think that's appropriate, but like, he's got to start winning in the playoffs.
Yeah, the talent
Like, he's got to start performing.
is more than the result.
Yeah. But year 2 with Harbaugh there, like, they have a real chance, I think, to keep growing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so Herbert at 7. Stafford at 6.
Wow.
Matthew Stafford. Now, I know Luke Wilson will agree with this. Luke is his biggest booster. Luke played with him for a short period of time in Detroit. He said you wouldn't believe the way this guy slings it. This is, I think, an example of how people like inside the game look at a player compared to outside the game. Now, anyone that watches football would know Stafford's a great player. But I think within the game, he's perceived as like this masterful quarterback because he can sling it. He's tough, reads defenses well.
And if you had a game you need to win,
and he's a winner.
He's going to be like one of your 5.
Won a Super Bowl, yep, for sure. And he's tough. Like he takes hits and he's tough. So Stafford at 6, Jaden Daniels at 5.
Wow.
So his rookie year was so phenomenal, but I am skeptical of a second-year quarterback. C.J. Stroud just did it. First year, he did basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Rookie of the year, dragged his team to the playoffs, was outstanding. Second year, took a big step back. Now, Daniels in the playoffs was so good, though.
Yeah.
That's what
And he's accurate.
Yes, man. Remarkably accurate.
But that's fascinating that they have him ahead of Stafford, ahead of Herbert, ahead of Goff.
Like, that's the league paying notice to a first-year player and saying, this guy's – like, if you're the 5th-ranked quarterback in the league, you could win an MVP, and no one's surprised by that. That's effectively what they're saying. Like, if the 5th-best quarterback in the league based on rankings in July wins an MVP, no one's surprised. Mahomes won it his second year in the league. Dan Marino won an MVP his second year in the league, but it's very, very rare for a young quarterback to do that.
Check the odds on FanDuel.
I'll bet you he's around 5th. Because we all know the 4 guys.
15-1, 20-1, something like that.
Look that up, guys. Yeah, look up what Jaden Daniels' MVP odds are on FanDuel.
So
I wonder
we're
if they're
at 4
shorter
now.
than that. Okay, so now this is where everyone knows Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Jackson. Like, those are the 4 guys. Clearly the Mount Rushmore of modern football. Lamar at number 4.
Yeah.
They have Jackson at 4. You'd agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have Joe Burrow at 4.
I just trust Burrow a little more.
Yeah.
But the injury stuff and
the injuries, he's also got the best weapon.
Yeah,
like Jamar Chase of all these other guys. I know,
crap.
that's true. He got hit hard last year, and their defense was garbage. Awful. You can't go wrong with any of these guys.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels plus 750 to win the MVP? Wow. So are the 4 other quarterbacks ahead of him?
Yeah.
Throw on your mic there, Ryan. Go ahead.
There we go. We have Lamar Jackson plus 500, Patty Mahomes plus 600, Josh Allen plus 600, and Joe Burrow also plus 600.
Wow. So Lamar is favored at 5-1.
He's in it every year.
Yeah. That's interesting that Allen, Burrow, and Mahomes are all tied 6-1. I guess how could you separate them?
I feel like Casey's going to be better this year.
Well, let's continue with this list. So Lamar Jackson at 4, Joe Burrow at 3.
Yeah.
Josh Allen 2, Patrick Mahomes 1.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. Like, for me, Mahomes still holds the crown. I know statistically his numbers weren't great last year, relatively speaking, but he's done it all during the regular season. He's thrown for 5,000 yards. He's thrown for 50 touchdowns. He's won multiple MVPs. Like, the regular season is a tune-up for him.
They also didn't have any weapons last year.
Exactly.
Rasheed Rice was hurt. Pacheco was hurt.
Yep.
Kelsey's old.
Yeah, Kelsey during the regular
Hollywood
season
Brown
isn't much.
didn't play.
Right.
Like, who is their best receiver?
And their line wasn't great.
Yeah.
Like, their interior line's okay. Their tackles weren't great. He got hit at times last year. His completion percentage was the best of his career.
Mm.
So, like, for me, Mahomes still clears all these guys.
It's a little, the
debate's at 2.
Like a Brady, Manning, Josh Allen thing.
Do you think Allen is who? Peyton Manning?
Peyton Manning.
I don't think he's as good as
He's
Peyton
not as good
was,
as
though.
Peyton, no.
Like,
Peyton won 5 MVPs. I think.
Peyton
was like
all-time, you could argue the greatest quarterback ever.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, but you could. Josh Allen's not in that category.
Do you know who's nowhere close to this list? Jordan Love.
Unfortunately, that's accurate.
Really worried about him.
Well, he'd be somewhere between 11 and 20.
Yeah, so he's not better than Dak. Same ballpark. Purdy?
Yeah. Purdy, we'll see with Purdy, man.
Okay.
You talk about a guy who had best offensive line, best weapons, Shanahan as his coach.
Okay.
Purdy, I don't know if he's better than Jordan Love.
Darnold?
I'm taking Jordan Love.
I think
Darnold had 1 year.
Love's upside is higher than
way
all these
more.
guys.
Darnold had. Let's see what he does in Seattle.
Okay.
He had 1 great year in Minnesota. I'm not convinced Sam Darnold has now arrived and he's here for good. I'm not convinced of that at all.
Caleb Williams?
Love, but Williams has a real potential this year. Like with Ben Johnson now, they've improved their offensive line. They have weapons.
Yep.
Like revisit that by the end of the year. But I'm still I would take Jordan Love.
Geno?
Love.
Okay.
Jordan Love.
That's all I got.
Yeah, so, Kirk Cousins, Michael Penix Jr., Drake May, these other young guys. CJ Stroud. I'd take Stroud ahead of him.
Yeah, true.
But, yeah. All right. We'll see what Luke has to say about this. Like, what sticks out from this list. We'll get into his take on what's going on in the CFL. He was out in the prairies. You see him out in Saskatchewan this week. And they had to delay the game, and Luke was out there. It was a gong show. But he's making noise, man. Luke is making noise from coast to coast. So we'll catch up with Luke in just over half an hour. And I'll tell you what I think the league should do with Marner's return that I don't believe they have the stomach to do. All right, we'll get into that and more still to come. OverDrive continues, TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
open on TSN. To Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, Luke Wilson coming up. Keegan Matheson, something to chew on. Brought to you by Boston Pizza a little bit later this afternoon. Home Run Derby tonight. The NHL revealed their opening night schedule. Florida against Chicago. Such a great rivalry there. Pittsburgh, New York. And then what was the third game? L.A. against Colorado.
Yeah.
L.A. against Colorado. That's a pretty good game.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, not within the division, but still, pretty good game. And on Wednesday, we will get the reveal of the full schedule. So I know what you're going to be doing and what I'm going to be doing and every Leaf fan's going to be doing. When is Vegas in town? When is Vegas in town? What is your prediction on when Vegas, the Golden Knights, will make their sole arrival into town, their only game in Toronto next year?
How could I guess? Just like guess a month?
Well, give me a day. Give me a game. Give me a day.
December 4th.
December 4th. Was that a Tuesday?
I don't know.
Okay, what I'm driving at is I think that's what will happen.
Like I think vary it a little bit?
Absolutely. I think Vegas will be pushing for it. I think the league will do them the favor because they're Vegas, so why wouldn't you want to make sure that Vegas is happy? And they're going to play in Montreal the night before, and they're going to fly in night before. There'll be no morning skate, and they're going to allow Mitch to get in and get out. And I'm not saying this through the scope of the Toronto market because it's going to be such a massive game. If I could have one piece of advice for Gary Bettman, the league, the owners, the TV partners, do not allow that to happen. This is the biggest story in the sport right now.
Really?
This offseason has been. What's been bigger than Mitch Marner?
Sure. Okay.
In the biggest hockey market in the world, the prodigal son from up the road leaving to go to Vegas, make sure it's on a Saturday night and make sure that he's in town early and make sure that it is promoted as a massive piece of entertainment because that's the business you're in. Because I can't imagine if LeBron James or whoever, you don't even have to use LeBron, but if there was a scenario in the NBA where you or the NFL,
well, that might happen. We haven't talked about.
And we'll get to
that.
LeBron. Well, let's say the NFL. Let's say there's some crazy, Mahomes leaves. He's returning to Kansas City. You think that game's played at 1 p.m.?
That would be like the first game of the year.
Sunday night football, under the lights, build it up. Everyone wants to see it.
Totally.
If you're the league, and I get it's complicated with the scheduling, and there's different, balls in the air, and I understand the complication of it all. Find a way to make sure it's a primetime game, and find a way to make sure that there's build-up. Vegas is in town a day before, and it's not about like getting Mitch or whatever. It's about giving it the appropriate platform it deserves because it will be the most anticipated regular season game I can think of maybe in my lifetime in Toronto. Close to it.
Whoa. Really?
I think so. Give me examples of games that'll be more hyped than that one.
What game comes to mind for me is being in Long Island when Tavares went back there for the first time.
You're right, but that was the other way. That was in New York.
Yeah.
But you're right.
That was like, it was terrible.
Crazy.
It was venomous. Like literally people holding snake signs. Like,
yeah.
And crazy, pretty good chance. Like honestly, like creative, but it was relentless. And like, honestly, I felt bad for him.
I understand
it was
that.
like,
but wasn't it incredible entertainment?
It was incredible entertainment.
Wasn't that what sports was all like? As crazy as it was,
like he'll get booed the whole time when he comes back.
Yeah, It won't be as vicious as Tavares. It won't. I don't think it'll be. I don't think so. I don't think it's in the nature of Toronto sports fans, Leaf fans. It's not in the nature of that building. It was a different. It's viewed a little bit differently. I think
it's a little more complex.
Yeah,
sure.
like Matthews is still here. Like John was the guy. Like he was the captain. He was the man. He was the face of the organization. Marner's one of them, but he's not the man. But there's an example. I'm curious. I don't remember when that game was. It was a midweek game?
I don't remember at all. I just remember like walking through because like where they play. Have you ever been to that?
No, I never have.
So the old Nassau Coliseum is in like the middle of kind of nothing. It's like in freeways. and the hotel, like the only hotel, is like across the parking lot. So you would walk from the hotel across the parking lot, and fans are like, they're having beers and stuff. They're tailgating before the game. And like, that's when you saw the stuff of like people like burning his jersey in the parking lot. It's just like, what is going on here? Like they really dislike him and dislike him for leaving.
Mm-hmm.
There's no tailgate here because it doesn't work that way. I could see it being not quite that venomous.
No,
but like,
I just don't think it's in the nature. Like those are New Yorkers, like New York sports fans. The Islanders have
Long Island is a little,
and they got like a self-esteem issue because the Rangers are bigger and all that. Like the Leafs, it's. I think it's different. But Ryan's saying that was a Thursday night game, so I don't know what that means in terms of profile. But also, the Islanders are not the Maple Leafs. Like this is Toronto. This is the epicenter of the hockey world. This is Marner's return. You have to platform this. You can't bury it. It's going to be just an incredible buildup, an incredible story.
yeah.
Like it's worthy of a prime time, like Saturday night. That's what it's worthy of.
Where you rehash everything and is it possible to play in Vegas first?
Yeah, that's possible for sure. I don't think you can predict that. But that doesn't matter.
Yeah,
like that, him playing, they'll meet, there'll be shots before, the guys hugging and, all that kind of stuff. And the media will get down there and talk to him. The Toronto media will be there, and he'll I'm sure, do scrums, and Mitch will talk. But it'll be different when he comes back here. But if I'm the NHL, like I am making sure that is a big platform game, because all the Western teams, they do Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, usually 3 games in like 4 or 5 nights. And it may work out. I wouldn't be surprised if, again, he's in Ottawa on Tuesday, Toronto on Wednesday, or something like that, or Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, and it's, something like that where he's in and out quick. But I'd platform it, because once it's done the first time, that'll be it.
If you were going to go to the game,
I will be at that game.
Okay, but you're going to go to the press box.
Yes,
right?
I probably won't be in the seats.
Let's say you did go in the seats. What would you do?
I'm not booing or anything like that. Like I wouldn't.
You're just doing nothing.
I wouldn't do that. And that's not like, oh, I'm so cool or anything like that. I don't know. I would feel uncomfortable personally doing that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that, but I want to experience what it's like, because I really don't know what to predict. Like I do think it'll be loud. I think there'll be a lot of booing. I think there'll be some cheering. I think the team will play the montage, right? Welcome back.
They better do more than a montage. Like,
what would you expect them to do?
You can't do the same thing for like
Pierre Engvall
that you do for Mitch Marner. Sorry.
So what should he get? A silver stick at center ice?
It's a good question. Like, what do you do in a situation like that? Because those
does
things
he really want it? Do you think he'd want more of a profile in a night like that?
Yeah, like something that. Yeah, I don't know what he wants, but I think he deserves that. Like, he's one of the 10 best players in the team history. Maybe 5. I don't know.
No, he's not. He's not in the top 5.
Okay, well,
I don't think he's not in the top 10 either.
In terms of talent, he's top 5.
In terms of talent?
Yeah. He's 5th in points. Like,
I get it. He's been here for 9 years.
Points per game are him and Matthews and Gilmore. Like, I don't know. His legacy is so complicated because, like, there's so much good and so much nothing like
he's
the
not
team
a top 5 Leaf ever. I mean, that even if he re-signed, I would say that he's not a top 5 Leaf ever. He's not greater than Matthews. Okay. He's not greater than Gilmore, in my opinion. Not greater than Sundin, Sittler, Salming.
Okay.
Like, you can go on.
So you're right. He's top 10.
Yeah, and I mean, I haven't even mentioned the Dave Keons and the guys that actually won when they were Maple Leafs. Sillaps and Tim Horton, guys like that. I mean, it's difficult to go that deep into the history, but you have to consider them.
Okay. I think he's going to be underrated in time, and I get it. Like, the playoff stuff, how can you not factor that in? But, like, he's like nobody the team has ever had, and maybe like the team won't ever have again. Like how many players are like that in the league, where you're one of the best defensive forwards, but you're also like this A+ passer, and your vision, and I don't know. It's too, like, honestly, like I wrote a big thing for The Athletic a few weeks ago, looking back at everything. It's just sad, like, that it ended the way it did. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm not a fan. It doesn't matter to me. But it should have been an amazing story. And
Yeah,
it's just too bad. Like, all these little pivot points, they screwed up. The team screwed up. He screwed up.
Yep. Yeah, they're both totally guilty of the position.
Should not
they're
have
in.
happened the way
You're
it
right.
did.
You're 100% right. Well, and then, as you transition, you mentioned LeBron, where this is quite something because he, by all accounts, he opted in because the Lakers wouldn't give him an extension.
Mm-hmm.
So the Lakers are basically like, you can either opt in or you can leave. Like, it's your call. So he opts in for the first time in his career. He's a lame duck player. He's never been a lame duck player in 23 years. And
when he was a lame duck, he was like, it was his choice.
Well,
right? There was
exactly
a player option.
He had always a player option.
Yeah.
Yes. This is basically the Lakers saying at the end of the year, you're probably out of here. But I don't think they owe him anything. Like, now it's Luka's team. LeBron has taken care of LeBron for 23 years. And the teams have benefited greatly from that. And in his prime, he had all the power and he had earned all the power. He's not in his prime. You're 40, 41 years old now. The Lakers don't owe you anything. It's Luka's team now. Like, they made that decision. When Luka became available, clearly you've got to put all your eggs into that basket.
Did you see the statement, the Rich Paul statement?
Which one?
So Rich Paul released a statement, I think it was to ESPN and maybe it was to The Athletic, basically saying LeBron wants to be on like a championship team and he hopes the Lakers are prioritizing.
But they're not going to do that.
Of course they are. Like, it's like so passive aggressive. What do you think they're doing? Like, do you think they're just like, wow, we got Luka, we can just relax?
Mm-hmm.
No,
but I don't think they feel like LeBron can contribute to that. Like, I think
that's true. They were the number 3 seed in the West last year.
Yeah, but they got pumped, man. They lost in 5.
Well, they had no center.
But they haven't really addressed that.
Well,
like, they have 8.
They got 8.
Good luck. I don't know, man.
It's just like this stuff. Like, I love LeBron, but like this stuff is kind of.
It's very LeBron-like that this is how it's going to end, with kind of like a disruptive, woe is me, passive-aggressive.
It's like you could have just, it's 50, I think it was 50 million, 52 million, something like to opt in. So he could have just given away that and not taken it and just signed anywhere he wanted for less, way less.
Yeah. But instead, I'm going to opt in and then act sour that you're not treating me properly.
Like, well, come on, dude.
The thing is, you mentioned Rich Paul. That's a big part of this. Teams are terrified of him.
Sure.
So I'm curious how much of it is I got to respect LeBron, but I got to respect Rich Paul, because LeBron will be done at some point. But Rich Paul's not going anywhere.
AD is not on their team anymore. That's a Rich Paul guy.
No,
like, they don't have. Like,
I know.
They don't. Care.
He's got everybody. I'm talking 5, 10 years down the road. Rich Paul's still working. LeBron won't be. Luke Wilson, Keegan Matheson, best bet still to come. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on the TSN app.
SportsCenter begins in the CFL, where Argos quarterback Chad Kelly was absent from walkthrough today ahead of Thursday's clash with the Alouettes. He continues to rehab in Buffalo and remains a long shot to start as he continues to recover from the leg injury he suffered.
City, lots of Nordique stuff still there. Like, it's pretty amazing how that, like, the history of that team is still alive, and they've been gone for 30 years. Like, it's depressing in a way, because clearly there's such a passionate market, and I'm sure they'd love to have their team back. But T-shirts, hats, everywhere, which is really cool. Went through Montreal, Habs gear everywhere. Ottawa, not as much. Anecdotal, not trying to bother people here. I'm not trying to get at Sens fans. Didn't notice as much Sens gear, though, in Ottawa. But you know it was big? This is something I don't think you can necessarily relate to, but a lot of people I'm sure can. My kids have reached an age where I don't have to go in the pool anymore. So we did pool hotels everywhere, which is mandatory. Basically, that's what I look up first. When I'm booking the hotel, is there a pool? What's up with the pool? Is there other stuff for kids? Like, I don't care if this hotel is on the moon. We'll stay there and find our way to Quebec City or whatever. So pool in Quebec City, pool in Ottawa, I think 4 total nights. I didn't step foot in that pool once. And I was so happy because I don't want to swim.
You don't like to swim?
I don't mind swimming, but I don't need to swim. Like, when your kids are young, you have to go in. And your kids are constantly like, can you come in? Can you come in? Now my kids are old enough. They're like, I don't care if you come in. I'm like, fine, I'll sit over here and have a beer. This is great. So that was a big, big moment for me and my wife. We got to just kind of hang out, and they swam, and big moment for us as parents. Can you appreciate that, Jonas?
So when you go to the beach, do you go in the water?
No. Hate natural bodies of water.
Wow.
I've made that statement many times. Will not touch. I will not even come close to an ocean. Not going in the ocean.
Wait, I have so many questions.
Interest.
So you
No
go to a
interest.
cottage.
Yeah.
You just sit on the dock with a beer.
Was just up in
never go
Muskoka this weekend. Did not. Actually, I did go in, but up to like my knees kind of to get into like a paddle boat and stuff like that. But I'm not launching off a deck. I will, and I have, and I do with my kids. At certain times, they're like, can you come out? There's a raft or whatever. Yeah, okay, I'll do that. But I'm not like, if my kids aren't there, I'm not going in.
So what is that about?
No, I guess
Are you
it's
scared
a
of the
phobia
dark?
of some sort.
Is it like you look down, you can't see what's in there? And
yeah, that's a part of it. That's probably a part of it.
What about the ocean?
Ocean's a complete. Who wants to go in the ocean?
I love the ocean.
What about for starters, saltwater is brutal. Sucks.
Great for your skin.
It's great for your skin, but you inevitably you're going to digest some, and you're like, oh, it's so gross.
Okay. What else?
Do you know what's going on in oceans?
No.
Do you have any idea what's happening?
On?
Well,
sharks? Are you worried about sharks?
I would say that's a part of my concern. You're not concerned about sharks?
Not at all.
You would swim anywhere in the ocean.
Sure.
Like, I put you off the shores of Australia. You're cannonball.
Yeah. Until like that scene in Jaws when everybody's running the other way and I'm out.
But what if you're the only one in there?
Oh. Hopefully I see it.
Let me ask you a hypothetical question I've asked before, and everyone's got a different answer on this. Let's say you're at a lake, reasonable sized lake, like not huge, not a great lake, not Lake Ontario or something like that, but just like a reasonable sized lake. There's one shark in there, one great white, just one, but you know what's in there. Are you swimming?
No.
Yeah, thank you. No chance
lake.
you're going in.
The ocean, you know how big the ocean is?
No,
it's big.
I know, but there's more than one in it. That's the point. You got to extrapolate.
You're fine.
Okay, what about a Great Lake? Let's say Lake Ontario. I put
for sure
five sharks. What else kills you in the ocean?
What kind of sharks?
Like great whites, like something that's nasty.
I think I'd take my chance.
You do 5 sharks?
Sure. Great Lake's pretty big.
What number would get to you? Like at which volume of shark?
100.
So if there's 100 scattered throughout Lake Ontario, you're like, I'm not going in there.
Probably not.
Okay. That's the number for you?
I want to know why you're so scared of the water.
I'm not scared. I'm not scared of the water. I just don't. I'm not a fan.
It.
I don't have an appreciation.
So you
for
would
it.
not take like something.
Not
I like
something
to do
I
in the
have to
ocean,
do.
I like to take
Love
like
a pool. Love a pool.
But so will you take like a pool? Will you take a floaty out in a pool and just like sit
Happily,
back
all day? Love a pool.
Okay.
Just I don't know, lakes and oceans and stuff. Like oceans are not for me. I'm not a saltwater guy. Way too many unknowns. Way too many stories of the guy that, something happened. You're like, what are you doing in there? Just sit at the beach. Why do you have to go in there?
Sit at the
There's
beach.
a pool back at the hotel.
Part of going to the beach is getting in the water. It's hot.
I don't think it's mandatory, though. I don't think, like, in order to go to the beach, you have to get in the water. Do you think that's, like, would you feel strange if you went to the beach?
Yes. I think
and you
that's
didn't go
insane.
in? I'll bet you Luke's not an ocean guy. I got him pegged.
No, I think he is. He's not scared of the ocean.
I'll bet you he's scared of the ocean. I'll bet you he's not going right.
This is an amazing thing. I remember when I learned that Jeff O'Neill doesn't like scary movies, and that was amazing for me.
Yeah.
This is equal to that.
That's soft. This is lived experience.
Is it? Did you get attacked by a shark as a kid?
I don't know. I worried about it. I'll tell you what, that's something that's changed a lot, like in my lifetime. Like people swimming in Lake Ontario, never as a kid. Like my mom would be like, you are not stepping foot in that lake. It was so polluted.
That's a debate for us because, like, I like going to the beaches and, like.
You're a Lake Ontario guy?
You got to check the flag. The flag tells you if it's safe.
Lake Ontario is a different beast, man.
Like, yeah, there was an E. coli in there last week.
I think I might pass on that one. I like 10 toes and 10 fingers. I don't need more. All right, here's our main man, Luke Wilson. I'm putting money he's not an ocean guy. I got him pegged. He's a biker. He's a land guy. Luke, go ahead, man. Do you like the ocean? Or are you an ocean swimmer?
You've got it correct. Again, it's not that I'm anti-ocean here, but I'm not surfing. I'm not ocean swimming. It's a when in Rome thing for me. I'm much more of a land guy.
Yeah, same, man. All day.
I mean, and I get out there and it's like, what am I doing here? There's so many great things on land, and I'm just lounging around out here. Once in a while, sure, but like, what am I doing?
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'll tell you what, man. I was in the Mediterranean, like in Greece. My wife and we took some boat, and we're supposed to swim into, what are they called? The hot rocks or hot
springs.
Hot springs. And when we signed up, I thought this boat was pulling up right beside, and I'm going to cannonball into the hot springs. They're like, no, you got to swim like 15 minutes. Dude, I was freaking out because this was in the middle of the ocean, and I had to go. My wife's like, you're getting in. I'm like, I guess. But, man, I was bent out of shape. I will never do that again. And totally ruin the hot springs.
Yeah, Hayes, and here's my thing. Is we love to think of this ocean as like this like real like friendly place,
no.
Yada yada yada.
Death.
This is like, these peoples or these fish and is it amphibians? Do I have that right? It's their home.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't control what they're doing. Next thing you know, I do something that annoys one of them, and I got a jellyfish stinging me or biting me or whatever the proper term is, or I just don't want to deal with all that.
I agree, man. It's like going in the jungle. Like, no, yeah, it is. Because, like, why go in the jungle,
so
man?
Scared of you.
Not all of them aren't, and you can't play on their playing field, Jonas. You're at the sea level, dude. You can't get down to where they are and where they're comfortable. Like you're fighting at such a disservice. You're in such
a great take.
It's off. You can't.
Great take.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
Soft.
Yeah, I love that.
Have you
knew
ever been
Luke
stung
would
by
see
a
it this way.
jellyfish?
No, and I don't intend to because I won't put myself in that position. You've been stung?
Great take.
It hurts.
Yeah.
But it's like it's not that bad.
It's bad enough. Like it can gets you in the wrong place and can kill you.
Yeah.
Like, didn't Steve Irwin die? He got hit with the heart.
Like, that guy's gambling every day. That guy's like swimming with crocodiles.
I know that. Okay. Another thing you won't see me do. Anyway, how's Saskatchewan, Luke?
Okay, I'll be honest, Hayes. So I put a small video out there. I had gone to Saskatoon for the first time I've ever been to Saskatchewan, probably 2 months ago. And I was blown away. Again, it's not Toronto as far as the size, but like the people there were great. The parts I were in Saskatoon were like very nice, kind of a cool weekend for me. And I'm like, wow, like I've never been out here. This place is amazing. I don't know what I was thinking. I want to be very, very clear that the people of Regina okay, were great. Everyone was wildly friendly. They loved the riders out there. I'll be honest and say that walking downtown, I was told that Regina has cool spots outside of downtown. But the places that I was at, which was not that many places, was by far the worst city I have ever been to. I've never seen anything like this.
Uh-oh.
I'm talking, this was beyond construction, Hayes. It looked like it was like war-torn at places. And I mean, it was uncomfortable to walk around. There was a lot. I mean, they've seen better days. So Regina in itself was a little tough. But I will say the people, especially those who waited for hours upon hours for a game Friday night that didn't actually happen, were unbelievable. But I don't know what's going on with the local government in Regina, but they got to get it figured out because they're letting everybody down.
Yeah, that's shameful, man. That's too bad. Like, I've never been there, so, you know, it's kind of got an ocean vibe to me. Like, I don't know if I'm dying to get out there personally, but you're not really selling it, man.
Wait, I have one more question. So will you guys go on, like, a hike? Because, like, there are certain places where you can go hiking.
Are there grizzlies within?
Well, like,
no,
you hear,
I'm not
like,
going on a hike.
bobcat attacks.
No, not happening.
Okay.
I walk down Yonge Street.
I will do a hike, but that's another one where I'm just like, it's got to be kind of like specific, if that makes sense, and it's got to be at certain times where there's not like 10 million people on the trail. You know, it's very like it's a curated ordeal for me.
Yeah, and you gotta have some sort of protection if you're in a situation like that.
No, you're just supposed to like get big and scream.
Yeah, with grizzlies, I don't think so, dude. Those things. If you are in their like territory, and they have a mood on, you're toast.
So, do you go camping?
No. Absolutely not. Go ahead, Luke. I don't know. Are you a camper?
I'm
what?
with you on that, Hayes. I'm an anti-camp guy.
I'm a hotel
really
guy. I'm an electricity guy and plumbing.
And that's not bad. That doesn't make you
like we live in this world
for being like, hey, I want a nice shower and the ability to turn on a light.
Like, could you imagine getting into a time machine and going back 300-400 years from now and say, hey, just for the record, I'm going to experience what you're experiencing, even though I have these options. You know how mad those people would be?
It's just to get away.
Our ancestors would be like, are you insane? You could take a shower every day and have plumbing and electricity, and you choose not to? Are you stupid? No.
You've never raised like the barrel up into it? Okay.
Not interested. Not even remotely interested.
I'd love to see like OverDrive from the Algonquin Park.
Yeah, that actually would be kind of interesting. Luke, you'd be in for that. I'm sure you'd be in for that, but yeah, we'll see. Well, in terms of the game, I mean, that was crazy where you guys had to wait a day. You end up playing the game, but, you know, the Argos, you know, on a local front, they were on a bye week this week. It sounds like Chad Kelly's right around the corner. Like, what's your read on the East? Because seemingly like every other year, it's wide open. Like the Argos are 1-4, yet I think they're probably thinking they could still win the division.
Yeah, I mean, having Chad Kelly come back will be a huge ordeal. The other one that I think people have stopped talking about that is very, very good is Montreal, but the problem is, you know, they've lost their starting quarterback. Now he's back this week, obviously. So that'll help. I think with Davis Alexander in there, they're, you know, right up there with Hamilton. The tough part with the Argos is, you know, they lose so many guys from last season, and for whatever reason, especially on that defense. And, like, even with Chad Kelly back, like, is that really going to, you know, push them over the edge? And Hamilton is right there. You know, I think Hamilton's up there right now. If I had to pick, like, my top teams in the league at this exact moment, I would go, you know, the West is pretty dominant. I would go Calgary probably 1, Winnipeg 2. Even though they laid an absolute egg, I would go number 3 was Saskatchewan, and then 4 would probably be Hamilton. 5 would be Montreal, and then it gets a little like Toronto's down there for me. Ottawa's really down there for me. They're probably sitting at 7-8. So Chad Kelly's got definitely a tough task to like get this ship turned around.
With Luke Wilson. So we were talking about this list that came out, ESPN.com. ESPN revealed their top 10 quarterbacks for the NFL season going into 2025. So they polled execs, coaches, and scouts. I don't think anyone's surprised. Mahomes is 1, Allen's 2, Burrow 3, Lamar 4. Like, those are always going to be the top 4 guys. You know, you could argue who should be – I don't think there's an argument for who should be 1 personally. I think it's clearly Mahomes. But then is it Allen? Is it Lamar? Is it Burrow? You know, you can differentiate whichever way you see it. So those are clearly the top 4. What I found interesting, and I'm curious to get your take on this, they had Jaden Daniels at 5. Daniels at 5. Do you think as a second-year player he's prepared to take on that level of expectation?
No, not yet. I mean, I think he's tremendous. I think that the future's extremely bright. But, like, and this is where it gets weird, and, like, we ask executives and, you know, yada, yada, yada. And I know I believe Stafford was 6.
Yes, he was.
And I'm like, I don't know many coaches right now that would take, if it was a playoff game, you know, we're going to take Matthew Stafford or we're going to take Jaden Daniels over Matthew Stafford. I know it's a one spot different, but it's like I look at last year's playoffs, for example, and Philly pretty much rolled everybody except for Stafford and the Rams. And there's an argument when Stafford had that 2-minute drive in the snow, I might add, okay, a game that with the weather should have heavily favored the dominant run team of Philadelphia. Okay, Stafford goes down, drives the field, and if you watch those last 2 plays back where Jalen Carter makes, you know, 2 huge plays there, it's an identification issue on the offensive line for the Rams. Like, I think if they just blocked that up correctly, it wasn't like he beat somebody. Stafford probably has a shot at knocking off the Eagles. So when I see these lists, I'm kind of like, man, it's not taking anything away from Jaden Daniels at all. But I'm like, I don't know. Like, when you use the term NFL executive, who does that entail? Is that a GM? Or is that a front office guy that is in charge of sales? Okay, and that, like,
yeah,
that's where I get with this list where I'm like, you know, another one on there that was kind of a bit surprising for me was Herbert, I believe, who came in. Was he 7 or 8?
Yeah, Herbert was 7, Goff 8, Hurts 9, Baker Mayfield 10.
Yeah, and I'm just like, you know, I look at take Baker at 10, and it's like Baker took the Cleveland Browns to a playoff game, and they beat Pittsburgh a few years back. He gets bounced around a little bit, and he was absolutely on fire, you know, the last 2 seasons, and has really taken Tampa into a very legitimate team. And I'm like, you know, I'm not trying to take a shot at Herbert. We're like, what has Herbert really, like, done? I know, you know, he's got some stats here, and the stats say this, and at one point he's 500, and it's yada, yada, yada. But I'm like, I don't really, like, watch Herbert and say, like, hey, you know, I'd rather this to go win a game. Like, I'd rather him than Baker Mayfield. I'm not sure. Maybe that makes me insane. But that's kind of why I saw this list. I'm like, I thought it was pretty easy to poke some holes in. The one that I'll say is, like, the top 4 are the top 4.
Yes.
You know, and you can point wherever you want. I think everybody would probably go Mahomes, Allen, outside of Buffalo fans. And the only reason, not a shot at Josh, the only reason is simply the wins, you know, which is not Josh's fault or not his fault. You know, it's just like it's hard to put Josh in front of Mahomes when Mahomes has this pedigree of beating the Bills in the playoffs consistently. But I think the top 4 is the top 4, and then after that, I thought it was pretty suspect.
Yeah, but I do think there is a big gap. I mean, I guess, you know, I know you love Stafford, and everything you say about Stafford is accurate in terms of he's tough, he wins when he's got weapons, he's got a line. Like, you can make the argument for him at 5, but I wouldn't be surprised, like, if Daniels continues to play the way if he just basically repeats what he did his first year, then I think he'd probably get to a point where he would define himself as the 5th best quarterback. Like, I don't see – yeah, like, he was phenomenal, man, and he was great in the playoffs. Like, what he did to Detroit was wild. Crazy, man.
Wild.
Yeah.
Hayes, I totally agree. I'd like to see another year. Like, for example, I think he was voted but didn't make the top 10. Like, C.J. Stroud, I think everybody would have had, like, oh, he's going to be a top 10 guy after his rookie year. and like that didn't come to fruition. Now he's obviously a top half of the league guy, and I saw Dan Orlovsky was really agitated, that he wasn't in the top 10, and there's an argument for him, sure. But it's like, to me, Jaden Daniels is not 5 yet. He has another year like he just did. He's 100% 5, and maybe he's, depending on how those other 4 do, maybe he's inching into the conversation of being in the Power 4. But it's just not a big enough, sample size for me to be like he's the 5th best guy.
All right. Well, we're getting close, man. Like, camps are opening. We got rookies, I think, reporting later this week. The big boys will be in town before you know it. We're going to have the Hall of Fame game in, 2 weeks? Just over 2 weeks, man.
We're here. August is when, end of July is when guys would report.
Yep.
I was out golfing this morning thinking to myself, a couple of years ago, I would, stress would be 10 out of 10 because we were 9, 8, 10 days away from showing up to camp where it's blood on the moon.
Oh, yeah.
Instead, I'm out here in Uxbridge swinging the stick.
I love it, man. I love it. Times have changed. Welcome to the dark side, my friend. It is a beautiful thing. Just feet up, little golf, staying on land. It's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing.
Staying on land.
Staying on land. We're land guys. There you go. We connected. I love it. All right, buddy. We'll do it again soon.
Sounds good.
There's Luke Wilson, our CFL, NFL analyst.
I just looked this up. How many shark attacks do you think there were in 2024 in the world?
200.
47.
That hurts.
That's pretty good. Your chances are
that
pretty
hurts.
low.
Yeah, I know. I get it. I mean, go do your thing. I'm not stopping people from going in the ocean. Go ahead. Go camping. I don't camping. To me, I have no interest. Nothing is intriguing. I'll admit it. I get it.
Have you ever done it?
No, and I have no
Ever?
interest in doing it. None.
Wow.
Wasn't raised a camp. I'm a city guy, born and raised in the city. My camping is, I don't know.
Have you ever watched
Go
that
down
show Alone?
I don't think so.
So they drop, these are experienced survivalist people. They drop them off in the middle of nowhere. And whoever survives the longest.
Okay, I think I have seen that.
Do you think you would last one night?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Because there are people they don't even last the night. They're they call it in.
Yeah.
I think you'd be an hour and then
I think I'd be okay out there, but the issue is, would I be able to start a fire? That's a life skill.
Important. You have to create a shelter.
Got to create a shelter.
Find food.
Probably don't get internet access out there. Find food. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's not my thing.
Fair enough.
The ocean, I've been in the ocean dozens and dozens of times. I will go back in the ocean.
Don't like it.
In my life. It's just I don't have an urge to do it. It's not my thing. Camping, I can tell you definitively, I will never do that.
Ever.
Ever, ever, ever.
I don't know why I find that so funny.
I could not care less about camping. And I have no urge to do it whatsoever.
You're missing out.
Am I? What am I missing out on?
Have you ever roasted a marshmallow on a fire?
Yes, many times at a cottage, and then I go inside. Guess what? You can start fires and then go inside and sleep on a bed and close the door and have lights and
just
fridges.
You're with nature.
How many times have you been camping?
Not that many.
Yeah, exactly. You're speaking as if you're this David Suzuki type.
10 maybe.
You've been. That's still a fair amount.
Yeah,
where you have personally been
and
Oh, so you've done the portaging.
That's not fun. I don't know why.
See, there's another example of that. Why do you want to grind it out with a canoe or kayak or whatever?
It's not fun.
And upstream.
Yeah.
And people are just gritty and grinding, and you're trying to survive. I don't find that appealing.
It's just to get away from your regular life, and it's you're with nature. It's silent. You're not on your phone.
Yeah, see that I find appealing. I will admit that. I think that's common in society. There's going to be escapes from phones. There's an industry out there for that.
Like a pod where you just go and sit in it?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of again, going to the Masters. You can't bring your phone. So you're in there and you're it's 2003 again. I'm back to where I was when I was 20. No phone, no anything. No one can reach me. Now, people know where you are. But
There was a
That's
time,
coming.
to your point, I went camping once, and like it was the morning, and I woke up and I heard like bears outside of the tent.
Mm-hmm.
A little scary.
That'll get your attention. Like black bears wouldn't necessarily scare you, but you never know. Like you get a mother bear with cubs around, and she takes a look at you, Jonas, thinks that you're up to something nefarious.
Yeah, but then you're just supposed to like get really loud.
I know. I love that. Oh yeah, just get loud. Just start yelling at a black bear, a wild animal, when you're nowhere close to
You're
civilization.
just not supposed to turn around.
Because then you're showing weakness.
Yeah, because then they could chase you.
Yeah.
There are warnings like in Toronto, like for coyotes. There are like signs about coyotes.
Coyotes don't scare me. Like coyotes aren't concerning for me. But if you're in a position where there's wolves around, bears around, like grizzlies in particular, no chance. No, give me raccoons in the subway system. That's where I'll camp out. All right. Keegan Matheson coming up. Best bet still to come as well. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 2.
Back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
I got you. Moonlight, you're my starlight. I need you.
Lots of support online for my lifestyle, Jonas. We don't do natural bodies of water. We don't do camping. Land, plumbing, electricity. That's how I roll. That's my trifecta.
Anti-water.
Generally speaking. But electricity and plumbing. Like, why would I ever give that up? Right? Like, it's just incredibly...
You just jump in the lake and you have a good refresh.
Okay. Well, I guess you could have the best of both worlds, but you don't do the camping thing.
What if your kids come to you and say, we want to go camping?
Never going to happen. I will have failed as a parent. if either of my kids say, we got to go camping, I will say, absolutely not. And then I'll find a way. I don't know how I'm going to get around
You could
that.
just get like one of those big trailers, and then you could sleep inside.
Yeah, I guess that's possible. All right, we'll see. Something to chew on, brought to you by Boston Pizza. That's somewhere in here. The read's not in here. We'll find it later.
Safe.
Brought to you by Boston Pizza. We've been asking people online, what would be the most important development for the Blue Jays in the second half? Vladdy steps it up offensively. Jays acquire an ace or a significant arm. Jays acquire a bat. 50% of the votes saying Vladdy stepping up. So that's pretty significant. Let's see what our main man Keegan Matheson has to say about that. Here he is from MLB.com and soon to be co-host of this very show, Overdrive, later in the week. We ready for this, Keegan, or what?
I'm ready, guys. I'm starting out with the soft launching a suit jacket here. I had to get suited up earlier to do a little SC with Sarah there. I took the tie off.
I
I
saw
felt
that.
like this was a tie-down affair. But, yeah, you guys have me in a suit jacket. I'm even wearing pants in my own home right now at 6:33 p.m. So I'm cleaning up my act in advance of Wednesday. Can't wait, fellas.
All grown up. I love it. It's great to see. Where do you stand on that? Like, Vlad, what if you could pick one thing to happen for the Blue Jays in the second half, a positive development, what would that be for you?
It's always Vladdy for me, man. The rotation, I do see the argument for an ace level starter, and they need that. They need somebody who can pitch in games 1, 2, or 3 of a postseason series. Not another guy that's a number 5. They can figure that out, but a legitimate game 1, game 2 type of starter. But Vladdy's it, man. Come to the postseason, you need to have a hitter of Vladdy's caliber who other teams are scared of. And they're not scared of Vladdy right now. They respect him. They're mindful of him. But nobody's afraid right now. And I think he's just trying to do too much. I think this is what we've seen in past years where he's trying to hit 5 home runs and change a game immediately. When you try, you're typically going to fail in baseball when you're going over that 100%. And Vladdy is capable of things nobody else in this lineup is capable of. And if he can take over a game, he can take over a series, guys, and he can be that guy in the postseason. They need him. Nothing goes anywhere without Vladdy, even with how good this has been.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. The amount of sugarcoating I see, in terms of analysis, in terms of online, like, well, he does, he's not seeing a lot of pitches, but do you think Aaron Judge is seeing like primetime pitches right down Broadway?
Thank you.
Like, he's getting worse action than Vladdy's getting, and he is launching. So there's no excuse for this, right, Keegan? Like 12 home runs in an OPS where it is currently, to say nothing of a batting average below 300. If you're not going to hit for power, you better be hitting more than he currently is. There's just simply no explanation. He's got to be substantially better.
When you're Vladdy, you don't get the treatment of the expected stats say this, the wind and the moon was in this house at this certain. I don't care. I cover the games and I cover the scores. And with Vladdy, that's been a big talking point over the years, whether it's his BABIP, balls in play, whether it is those expected launch angles on what he's hitting. It needs to happen in games because 99% of fans who watch a game every night don't know what the hell any of that stuff means, number one. And this is a results business. It's an entertainment business, but it's a results business. And at this stage in Vladdy's career, you need to see the ball going over the wall. And that's the important part. If Vladdy was a singles hitter, if he was a guy trying to hit 320 and steal 50 bases, Sure, there's a little more room for that luck and chance with balls finding grass, but he needs to be finding the third deck at this point. He needs to be breaking games open. And for his home run total to be where it is right now, strange to me. And it hasn't, guys, it has not looked terrible. It's just looked kind of okay. He's not striking out 5 times a game. He's not getting overwhelmed. It's just looked okay. And he's not an okay baseball player. He's a great baseball player. But I like the Judge comparison, and I'm glad you say that. This is a major market. It's a serious market. This is a playoff team, and it's a serious team. And I think we need to talk about every player on the roster, stars included, any paycheck, in a serious way. And Vladdy right now needs to be better. He's been okay, but he's the guy who can take this team to greatness this year. They're a postseason contender. With Vladdy, they can be a World Series contender legitimately.
So, Keegan, do you think this is just, when you say pressing, do you think this is contract related? He just is trying too hard with that?
I don't think the contract is too much of it, but we've seen it the last few years, guys. And John Schneider always kind of explains it the same way, that Vladdy is pressing. It's a word that he'll use a lot, trying to do a bit too much. We've seen it in past years. And any Blue Jays fan listening can picture this when Vladdy flails at the big outside slider because he's geared up for a fastball and he's swinging a little big. Vladdy, in those moments, he wants to be the guy. And that's good. You want the guy to want it. But at this point, Vladdy is extending a little bit. And based on natural, raw, gifted talent alone, he's still doing pretty well. His numbers right now are a dream season for 80% of the league, but it's Vladdy. And at this point, you need to see him get back into who he is. And I said this earlier on SC, guys, but it's with Vladdy. I've always said there are some days where he should just show up for game time, pair of sandals, chuck on the jersey, go play. No meetings, no nothing. He's that good, and turn the brain off for a day. Maybe this All-Star break, the Derby, being around those guys, I think that could help shake him up a little bit, because when he gets hot, this whole thing changes. Big time. With Keegan Matheson, MLB.com. And, you know, you mentioned that even with him playing the way he's playing, they're a playoff contending team. I mean, they're leading the American League at the All-Star break. But if he gets back to where he was in the second half last year, where he was a few years ago, that launches them, you know, into possibly World Series caliber. And I think that's accurate, and I think that's important to point out. Like, the goalposts have moved here when you consider where we were 3 or 4 months ago, where I don't think anyone was anticipating they'd be leading the division at the All-Star break, that at any point during the year they'd run off 10 straight wins, that they'd sweep the Yankees in a 4-game series. Like, none of this seemed possible. How far have those goalposts moved for you now, to the point, in terms of accountability for the team, the front office? Like, is it now playoffs or bust, where if somehow it spirals out of control and they miss, that's a massive failure? Like, how do you project the rest of the way in terms of expectations today compared to where they were 3 or 4 months ago? Totally different. If they miss, it's a disaster at this point. And how they've gotten here impresses me so much. If you'd told me 3 months ago that everybody's hurt, Santander gives them no value, Vladdy is just okay, I'd expect they would be 3 or 4 games below 500. Because I thought this was a 500 baseball team coming into the year. I really did. And good or bad luck, maybe it puts you 5 games in either direction. I didn't expect this. And if you are a small market team with a $50 million payroll, sure, maybe you look at it as luck. Golly gee, let's try to catch this. But no, this is a huge market with a huge payroll. And I think this team needs to take that seriously. And I think the coverage of it needs to be serious as well. There's no longer room to be satisfied just to sneak in with the third wild card and be invited to the party. They need to be the biggest and loudest person at that party at this point. The trade deadline needs to be part of that, but it's right in front of them, guys. With the trade deadline, with how aggressive they are down the stretch, I'm going to keep coming back to the idea of, if not now, then when? When else is going to be a better time to go all in than right now? When the Yankees are beatable, when the AL is open, and this is a surprise year, but when you get a pleasant surprise like this, you've got to ride it, especially with Bo Bichette, a potential free agent next year, Chris Bassett, Max Scherzer, Chad Green. That's money off the books. You can reload, you can reset, but the goalposts have moved, and I think every conversation now needs to go along with that. It's about the division. It's not about the playoffs even. It's about winning the AL East, period. I think that people in Toronto should start talking how people in New York and Boston talk every year. It's the division.
So what would a perfect deadline look like? Is that take it from there. Is it a starter? Is it a closer? Is it a bat? All the above?
Yeah, good question. When you break down realistically what they could come out of this with, guys, it's all about ceiling. Now, we've seen this year, they have enough big leaguers. In past years, they kind of needed a number 5 just to get there. They needed that veteran utility infielder just to get there. They don't need that right now. They have 20 infielders. They have 40 outfielders. They're fine there. Any addition needs to raise the ceiling. So if you're looking at a hitter, you need to be talking about Eugenio Suarez. You need to be talking about the big guys. If you're talking about starting pitchers, yeah, it's fun to talk about guys like Keller who could help out the rotation, but you should also be talking about Lugo and Jacob deGrom, guys who can, again, start game 1, 2, or 3 of a postseason series. The bullpen's definitely going to be part of this, but I do think that a big addition to the rotation here, guys, would really take this team to the next level. And I keep coming back to Jose Barrios, how they got Barrios back in 2021 this was. He still had a year left on his deal. They took on that year. They extended him. Looking forward, Scherzer's gone, Bassett's gone, Gausman has 2 years left, and he's gone. They need to find the next guy to be there alongside Barrios, alongside Trey Savage. They've got money, man. They've got tons of money. And if there's a small market team looking to unload a guy and his money, I think the Blue Jays should be all over that.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that idea. And, you know, in terms of forecasting Max Scherzer and his role in the rest of the regular season, if he's healthy, he's going to pitch. Jonas and I were, you know, talking about the playoffs. Like, is there any possibility you see him, if he's healthy and his arm is live, that he's an option for them? Let's say they're in a wild card, best 2 out of 3. He gets the ball in one of those 3 games.
I think he is. At this point, it would be part of a strategy where you think you're only going to get 4 or 5 innings. It could also be Max Scherzer coming in after Jose Barrios. Ideally, you do that with a bit more of a plan, and we're not talking Barrios Coochie here. Nobody's shaking and having nightmares
They
tonight.
can never do that again.
Is that going to happen
Never
again, Keegan? Like, is it possible that happens again?
Not that early. It can't happen that early again. It would have to be a Barrios is going to pitch until he's done, and then somebody else comes in. But if Max Scherzer is one of your few best pitchers, and he very well can be, like he just looked real good in his last couple, he's got to stay healthy. And if you get to the postseason, I think you can talk about using him in shorter bursts as well. At this point right now, I would not want to have that conversation with Max Scherzer. I think he would put me through a wall if I suggested shorter bursts for the Hall of Famer. But as a starter, he's holding up, and his stuff still looks good. Yeah, the thumb's a problem, but when he's good, his stuff is still legit major league strikeout stuff. And when I look at this rotation, guys, like let's line it up for a ALDS. Gausman and Barrios are probably up there in games 1 and 2. What's Bassett going to be at that point? Will Eric Lauer still be this good story, or will teams figure him out? I'd probably bet on Scherzer, honestly, right now being third in line at that point.
Yeah. I mean, that would just be an incredible story. And ultimately, that's what you would be paying him $15 million for. That start, right, Keegan? Like everything else is gravy. Like he missed a lot of time. He's looked pretty good recently. He seems healthy enough to probably give you another, 6, 7 starts. He's going to miss one or two, I think, down the stretch. I'm fully anticipating that.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're in a big game and Scherzer's on the mound and he gives you good stuff, they got all the money in the world. That's worth $15 million. Like that would be worth it for him.
Yeah, when we talk about wins above replacement, what's one WAR worth these days? 9 or 10 million. People kind of chart that out as one playoff win is worth all the money in the world.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. That immediately, if Max Scherzer wins a playoff game, gives them 5 innings of 1-run ball, that's the best deal they've made, Max Scherzer, because it's big moments. And in the postseason, it's a little different. Those moments get big for a starting pitcher, especially if you are in Yankee Stadium or something like that, and every single person in that stadium hates you and is chanting your name. Max Scherzer can handle that. He would probably be cursing into his glove and going a little wild, and he'd like it. Man, if he can win a postseason game, nothing else matters.
Do you know I saw him throw a no-hitter in Washington.
Did you?
Yeah, it was very cool.
Nice.
And I think if I'm remembering it right, it should have been a perfect game, but Jose Tabata, I think, stepped in front of the pitch. But anyway, that's not what I want to ask.
Greasy.
Yeah, right at the end, it was like a big controversy. And anyway,
gutless.
Keegan, Santander, do you have any like expectations for him the rest of the year? Are they high? Are they low? Are they non-existent?
I think it's best just not to, honestly, at this point. That's not a knock on Santander where he's at, but I just think realistically, if you're the Blue Jays and you're trying to build a roster, you need to treat Santander kind of like how I look at Alec Manoah right now as well, guys coming back from Tommy John, as a bonus. If he surprises you and comes back and helps out, bonus. Okay, that's building on top of what you've already got. But Anthony Santander, guys, I'm starting to feel like last year when I would annoy John Schneider every single day by saying, hey, is there a Joey Votto update? And he'd say, Keegs. And I'd be, okay, same thing. With Santander, is he swinging a bat yet? No. And ideally that happens soon. But even when he starts swinging a bat, there's a full build-up once again. You've got to have no setbacks. And guys, we talked a lot 3-4 months ago about how Anthony Santander is a slow starter every single year. Is it about the weather or how far into the season he is? I don't know. Like, is this still early if he comes back? So no guarantee he's going to come back and slug a bunch of home runs either. So I think you need to count anything from him as a bonus this year and then completely reset 2026.
Ooh, man, that would
pricey
be tough.
bonus.
That's a pricey one, man. You gotta hope he comes alive at some point, offers you any sense of production. And at this point, he's DHing, right? Like if he returns, he's just going to DH. He's not playing in the outfield. All right, Keegan, we'll catch you here Wednesday afternoon, buddy. We can't wait.
Can't wait, fellas. We'll see you then.
You got it. Keegan Matheson, MLB.com. He'll be in here for OverDrive on Wednesday with Frankie Corrado. We're looking forward to that. And Something to Chew On was brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. Enjoy $15 lunch at BP where you get an entree, a side, and a drink, and you'll get it all in 20 minutes or less. A fast lunch doesn't have to be fast food. See you for a $15 fast lunch at your local Boston Pizza. All right, we'll come back with our best bets, and we're going to start looking ahead to the Open Championship at Royal Portrush. McIlroy almost got it yesterday in Scotland. He's right there. Scheffler's going to be in the hunt. Final major of the year. It's crazy. We're already reaching the final major of the year. One more slam in tennis. Just rolling through New York. That's it.
Then it's September.
And before you know it, hockey's in the air. The NFL's back. It happens quick. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 2.
The model. Drop a few bills and pop a few champagne bottles.
All right, Best Bets powered by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Got the Home Run Derby tonight. I wouldn't say it's star-studded.
Who are you picking to win?
I think you got to go look for value down the board. Like Cal Raleigh's in it. He's paying plus 320. He's the favorite. But I don't see him winning tonight. Like everything's working for him in live action, but that's not the way the Derby works.
I think one of the young guys, like Caminero, Wood.
Yeah, see, that's who I was leaning that, like O'Neill Cruz or something like that. I'm actually going to go with Matt Olson paying plus 950. Like he can mash.
Yeah.
He's still in his prime.
Yeah. Rooker? What's Rooker?
Plus 10-1.
That's pretty good.
Jazz Chisholm, who just got added, 16-1. But it's just not a great list of like,
no.
You know, obviously Judge isn't in it. Otani's not in it. Vladdy's not in it. Your boy Juan Soto's not in it. Like Pete Alonso's been in it for 15 years straight. Where's Pete?
Good. Yeah.
Like we got to get Pete in there, man.
Tired of it.
So, yeah, I'm going to go with Matt Olson plus 950. Like, I think you need value. You got to go someone kind of middle of the board because I really think it's a crapshoot tonight. Today's Best Bets powered by FanDuel. The first inning means as much as the ninth when you bet baseball on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Please play responsibly, 19 plus, physically located in Ontario. So the Scottish Open took place yesterday. It's a major over in France on the women's side. Unbelievable playoff in that. And now we set up for the Open Championship, Jonas. And coverage of the 153rd Open from Royal Portrush is brought to you by Subaru. Head to your local Subaru dealer for lease rates from 1.99% for 29 months on select models. See dealer for details. McIlroy's trying to claim like he's back. I don't know if I'm buying it, though he did look very good this year in this week in Scotland. You talk about a crazy season. Like he wins the Players, he wins Pebble Beach, Players, Masters, and then falls off a cliff and hates the world. It's his home course, basically his hometown. Like, is that the best story for you, McIlroy?
Yeah, I don't know why I think of Kevin Durant, like when he won the championship, and I was like, this isn't as great as I thought it was. And then it was like, it kind of went down.
Get me out of here.
Although he did win again.
Yes, he did.
But
one more time.
So wait, I have one question. So when you went to these pools, did you not jump in the pool ever? This whole trip that you just went on?
No, I never went in the pool.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was like 1,000,000 degrees outside.
I know.
Just sitting out there.
Yeah, I was very happy with myself. No pools. No pools. Don't start with me, JP. No pools, man. Believe me, when you have young kids, you have to go in the pool when you don't want to go in the pool.
But you would just think it's hot. You just want to cool off.
I know. Our neighbors invited us over yesterday. I didn't go in the pool, and that one was stupid. Like, we were sitting outside, and everyone's like, aren't you ridiculously hot? And I was like,
yeah,
I am. I'm so hot. I don't know. Stupid. I should have gone in. Anyway. All right, Jonas. When are we going to see you next? Are you back in here tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
See you tomorrow.
All right, we got Jonas in here tomorrow. We got Struddy, I think, on the show tomorrow. That's going to be a fun one.
We'll find out if he's anti-water as well.
I got a feeling he is. Does
anybody like the water?
No one likes the water. Just you, man. All right, thanks to everyone behind the scenes for helping out, everyone for tuning in today. TV, radio, podcast, web, and, of course, up on YouTube Live on TSN's YouTube channel. We're out of here. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy the games tonight. We're back tomorrow at 4 p.m. We'll chat then.